Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Today, the Minnesota Golden Gophers are in town to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
One ready to go? All right. Ding, ding.
Ozigbo on second down, got the edge. And Ozigbo into the clear. Divine Ozigbo with a divine touchdown run. Here's Ozigbo on first down. Divine Ozigbo breaking free. Can he beat Jacob Huff to the corner, to the end zone, his second touchdown. Second and goal. Martinez slings it for Spielman at 6. Martinez hears he throws, but he's got Morgan wide open. Stanley Morgan got lost, and Stanley Morgan's got 6. Here's Washington leading to the end zone, touchdown Nebraska. The cherry on top.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
Across midfield, it's Hunter to the 40. 4 left sideline, 20, 15, 10. And is he in? He is! Touchdown Huskers! Viola looking to the end zone, still rolls to the numbers at the 10. Slings one back right corner. Was it caught? It's Lindenmeyer. He makes the catch.
That's how winning is done.
Viola out of the gun. Snap. Turn. Play fake. Zips one left. Leaping one-handed catch. Tumbling in the end zone. Dane Key. Touchdown Huskers! Oh, that was a cold-blooded drive.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win. Win.
What are we waiting for? Take this!
Good morning. Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live. Why am I echoing? Anybody? Do we know? There we go. We are here presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Rico, how are we doing this morning?
Yeah, I'm doing fantastic. I'm doing great. It's amazing. It's a great day. It's a game day.
It is a game
Not a
day.
high school game. Well, it is a high school game day, but it's also a Husker game day. And I'm excited.
I'm
extremely excited.
Why are we excited?
I am hyped. Nebraska's playing Minnesota. The $5 Bits of Broken Chair trophy is on the line. Nebraska can bring it home for the first time in quite a while, at least football-wise. They brought it home
2019, I believe.
Yeah, they brought it home last year volleyball-wise because Nebraska and Minnesota didn't play on the football field. So that's on the line. And Nebraska looks really good. And Minnesota looks okay. But it's Minnesota, so I'm still kind of scared.
Yeah, I mean, I think we need to get past that. I think we need to get past the always being scared of whether it's Minnesota or whoever else. Nebraska's better than Minnesota. They just are.
I mean, they've been better than Minnesota for multiple times they've faced them, and that meant nothing. They've been better than a lot of teams they've played.
They have.
And that meant nothing.
I don't think they've been better than Minnesota, fully better than Minnesota since Matt Rhule's taken over. Because they've only played him the once, right?
Yeah.
They played him first game. I don't think they were better then. I don't think Nebraska was better then.
No.
I don't think they were better.
I think they might have been.
They might have had better. They might have had better players. They weren't a better football team.
They were a quarterback away from winning that game.
Maybe.
You lost 13-10, and you're not great quarterback threw a touchdown pass on a pass that went back to him.
Yeah, on the bounce pass. We love that.
Yeah.
We love the bounce pass touchdown.
I watched that highlight yesterday.
Just how they drew it up.
It was a great throw by him. Granted, his wide receiver was wide open, but it was a beautiful spiral.
Yeah, no, it was great. That's why people get fooled by the Jeff Sims experience. That's what happened.
Then he had a really great run the next week against Colorado.
And we were like, oh, nope.
There might be something there.
There is not.
There was not.
Just as Arizona State fans found out last week against Utah. No hate to Jeff Sims. I hope he's doing lovely. But the point is, I don't think Nebraska's been better than Minnesota since Matt Rhule's been here. Granted, it's a small sample size, but I'm not putting all the other stuff on this coaching
Different
staff.
team, different staff.
I mean, no, because listen, you can't tell me for a second. You cannot. I just won't believe it. You can't tell me for a second that a Matt Rhule, especially after year one, Matt Rhule football team is losing to the COVID bunch in Minnesota that came down with 14 guys and a trainer and came in here and beat Nebraska. You can't, like, that would never happen under Matt Rhule's watch. It just wouldn't.
Yeah, I'm not going to try to tell you that.
Like, it wouldn't. That is a uniquely
That was bad.
crappy head coach problem.
That was bad.
Right?
That should not have happened. That I don't think not any other team. There are very few teams in the nation that lose that game.
There is maybe Bill Callahan, but there's not.
I don't even think Bill Callahan
I don't either.
loses that game.
I don't either. Maybe at like the end, the last year when things fell, like the wheels fell off.
No, because Bill brought talent. Like Callahan they were talented teams. They just
I
weren't.
get that.
They would have won that game off of skill alone.
Listen, go back and look at the back half of 2007. Some weird stuff happened, and a lot of teams hung 70 on that squad. So,
okay.
like, maybe last like 6 games of the season, 6 games of his career here, Bill Callahan maybe loses that game. Maybe.
Potentially.
I've got a lot of PTSD from Kansas hanging 70, right? Like, so like maybe.
Those were good Kansas teams.
They were good Kansas teams, but not 70 points on Nebraska, good Kansas teams, right? So, like, no hate on Todd Riesling. Like, I remember my boy. But, like, there is not a single head coach, I don't think, in Nebraska history that loses that game other than one Scott F. Fitzgerald Frost. I don't think that's his real middle name. He's not Scott Triple F, I don't think.
No.
It'd be
Scott
cool.
F. Fitzgerald.
Scott F. Fitzgerald Frost.
Scott.
Which is what he was doing when he introduced Hoodie Gate. He's going, and which is another dumbass reason Nebraska's lost to Minnesota.
Got beat up with
Like,
my day.
Like I can't put any of that on Coach Rhule because Coach Rhule is not an unequivocal bad football coach. Like that's all there is. Like Solich doesn't lose those. Callahan doesn't lose those. Pelini doesn't lose those.
Can I say something controversial?
Go for it.
I don't think that Scott Frost is a bad football coach.
I think he
was a bad football coach.
I think he's a bad head football coach.
I mean, he went 6-6 and then undefeated at UCF.
That's fine.
And now they're doing pretty well again.
Are they?
I think they are.
I think they were.
They were like 4-0. They
were like 3-0. I think they're
3-0.
like 3-3 now.
Well,
I think they're coming back to earth.
Okay.
We'll double check real quick.
Yeah. I don't think he's a bad
They're 3-3. They're 3-3. They're 0-3 in the Big 12.
Okay.
I think he's a bad football coach. I think he caught lightning in a bottle with the perfect head coach.
Yeah.
Or with the perfect quarterback and a lot of talent that George O'Leary had put together before the team decided to quit on him.
Yeah.
And I think he got lucky. I think he's a fine offensive mind. I think you're fine with him as an assistant.
Mm-hmm.
If he has influence over anyone, I think it's a disaster.
Okay.
His problem.
I can't completely disagree.
His problem's not the football part. His problem's the other stuff.
Yeah,
like being in charge.
The football stuff, he's really
good.
That's why he surrounds himself with people smarter than him.
He can't be in charge.
Don't give me a look.
He can't be in charge. That's my point. Because it's the organizational leadership stuff that is where he fails.
What if he's just like a figurehead in charge?
No, because here's the problem. There is not enough self-awareness in that man's body from what we've seen so far that, A, he would ever surround himself with people that were actually smarter than him.
True.
Because I don't know that he thinks anybody's actually smarter than him. And B, that he would allow himself to be a figurehead head coach because, who could possibly be smarter than me? I need to make the decisions. Him having an influence in leadership is the problem. So, I'm not saying he doesn't know football.
Is Scott Frost Josh McDaniels?
Maybe.
Like just be an offensive genius.
Just like go be a ball coach.
Just do that.
Just go be a ball coach.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Don't do any of the other stuff.
Yeah.
Just go call offenses.
Yeah, maybe. Maybe he'd be okay there. Although he didn't ever really do that much. He had like 1 year of that at Oregon. So we really don't know.
That's true.
Wide
receiver coach.
We really don't. Well, he was an OC at one point, but Helfrich was calling the plays until the last year. So we really don't know. But that's not the point. The point is Nebraska's better than Minnesota.
That's true.
For the first time under Coach Rhule. And Coach Rhule doesn't lose games like that. He doesn't lose games where, like, listen, I know.
He is the better team.
Yes, especially by year 3. We've seen this so far in year 3, right?
We won't know next year.
What do you mean?
Because he's never been there that long.
Well, that's not true. He was there 4 years at Temple.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Everybody always forget that.
He forget about fourth year Temple.
He went back-to-back double-digit wins at Temple, and everyone's like, he's only ever been 3 years anywhere. That's not true.
Okay, then we won't know after that because he's not going anywhere.
Yeah, he's not going anywhere. He told us on Pat McAfee yesterday.
Is what he said.
Do we have that clip?
No. I'll get it.
Come on, man. Come on, man.
I had one job.
Literally, I asked for one thing yesterday.
Yeah, that's on me.
Come on. Yeah, so Coach went on Pat McAfee and was like, hey, he basically pulled the Jordan Belfort.
He did what you wanted him to do.
He did.
It was later than you wanted it to be.
Listen, I thought it was going to be Monday. He had to rally the troops and get some more NIL kitty before that happened. You know? I don't know why we started calling it NIL kitty. Does anybody know?
I don't like that.
I think I think DB started calling it that on Monday.
I don't like that.
But then somebody else uses it, and I was like, wait, is this just a thing?
NIL kitty. I'm not a fan of that. It's weird.
You know what it reminds me of?
Please don't ever use that again.
I'm going to use it exclusively from now on.
Makes me uncomfortable.
What's the song like? Was it BBL Glizzy?
BBL
Drizzy?
Drizzy,
Yeah,
not Glizzy.
I think Glizzy because we're always thinking about hot dogs at Hurrdat Sports.
You're a big hot dog guy.
But I just want to do that song, do a parody. NIL Kitty.
NIL kitty.
Yeah, see, it works.
Okay, here we go. I got it.
You got the video? All right, let's throw it up here.
And I don't want to have to distract you here because obviously you're in the middle of a season and you've already answered this about how much, like, hey, that's my hometown. Like, I love that place. Like, I always will. Everybody loves their alma mater. That conversation's only going to heat up around you assume. And you said before, like, hey, this is what happens. I was at Temple. I was at Baylor. Anywhere you have success, this type of shit happens. I'm used to this. This is a good thing, not a bad thing, that other people want our players, want our coaches, myself included. That's kind of been your messaging. You've been here before. What does that look like for you with team, with everything, with how hot that's going to get in the kitchen, it seems like?
It's with my team, it's just unbridled honesty. Tell them the truth. Tell them exactly the truth, and don't BS them because they'll know. And secondly, like, just out there, like, this is it. This is part of it. Like, it's better than when I was in Carolina and they were chanting to fire me, right? So it's better than being on every hot seat list. So having other schools maybe be interested in you is pretty cool. But I don't do that during the season. I don't mess around with that. I don't play that. And at the same time, this is not a jumping off job. This is a destination job. This is one of the greatest places in the world. This is a town of 300,000 people. This isn't everyone says like Lincoln. It's 300,000 people here in Lincoln. Like, I can do whatever I want here. I have a great young team, the youngest team in the Big Ten. Think about how good we'll be next year. Now, I'm not thinking about next year, but where we are right now, like, we're learning. Think about where we're going to go with Dylan and all these guys. So I refuse to be distracted. At the same time, it's when it's your alma mater, you have to show it love and respect. And I hope, and I love Pat Kraft. They'll find the right coach for them, whoever that is. But like, this is a destination job that should be a national bully, that should be a beast. And I think we're making our way to doing that.
So to me, that sounds pretty definitive. I don't know about you.
Yeah, no, that's it.
Like,
that was exactly what everybody wanted him to say, and this was exactly how he wanted to do this.
Yeah,
and I understand that you wanted him to say it at the local presser, right? Like, you wanted him to say it right away when he was first asked the question.
Honestly,
hey,
this is
I'm not
better.
leaving. I'm not doing this.
This is
yada
better.
yada yada. But this is how he wanted to do it,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of want to get Damon's take on it when we do talk to him later.
Yeah.
But going on a national show, a show that probably a lot of recruits watch because people love Pat McAfee.
Yeah, Pat McAfee's very popular.
Especially the youths. The youths love Pat McAfee. So going on Pat's show, and everybody knows he goes on every week, right? That's his thing now. He goes on every week, goes on Pat McAfee. He's in front of his TV, he's in his office, he's got his mic, he's got his bobblehead Herbie in front of him, he's got everything around him.
His
that
Nebraska gear on him.
He is comfortable. He's in his element. He can show off everything that he has. And now he's saying, look, I'm in Nebraska. I'm staying in Nebraska. This is the place I want to build up. It's a destination. People want to come here to win.
We're going to be a bully.
This place has won before. I'm going to build it back up to win again. And yeah, we're going to be a bully in the Big Ten.
Yeah.
We're not going to be bullied. Where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. Zach Randolph.
No, he's I thought that was incredibly smart the way he played it, because I think he got everything he wanted out of this situation. One, he got to, I think, raise up the profile of what he needs out of the NIL. Just gonna say NIL, not gonna say anything else after that.
Please, thank you.
I have it on pretty good authority that phones at the athletic development, aka the donor's office, have been ringing off the hook since Monday. And now he makes basically the announcement that he's not going anywhere on national TV.
I'm not leaving.
In front of national recruits, wearing his Husker gear, showing a national profile, all the things you said. Like he did the, hey, give us more money in private, more local. And he did the Nebraska's the destination job. We're about to be a monster and a bully in public, right? That, I think, is the perfect way to play it, because he doesn't want to go out on Pat McAfee and be like, hey, we need more money, guys, because that's a bad look nationally, because then the recruits are like, what, am I not going to get paid if I go here?
If I go here, do I not get money?
Yeah, it's like, do I not get paid? Because a lot of these other coaches at other places are promising things they're not delivering. Nebraska doesn't do that.
Yeah.
Right? Nebraska, if they say you're going to get something, you're going to get something. Right? Now, the number they start off with might be lower, but you'll actually get that number.
Yeah.
And you'll get it over however they lay it out for you.
It'll hit the account.
Yeah, like you don't have to worry about that direct deposit. You don't have to like be checking your
that check ain't bouncing.
Yeah, like you're good.
Yeah.
Whereas other places like, oh, did we say that? Oh, see, that was verbal. We didn't get that in writing. So
see, what I meant was
what had happened was
the way my bank account is set up.
Yeah, it's like, okay, yeah. Well, here's this gift card it's like, come on, man.
Here you go. Go to Chili's on me.
It's like, hey, here's a Visa. It's like, what are we doing? What are we doing?
Go get yourself something real nice.
So I like that he did the
$5 Target gift card.
The fundraising. Yeah, it's like when you work for like a big soulless corporation and you're like, hey, just pay us more. And they're like, what about a pizza party? They're like, hey, pay us.
Like, oh, morale is down. Let's get some pizza.
And they're like, hey, everybody's unhappy here. Can we maybe, we're not making enough money here. You guys, I saw the profit statements. You guys are doing really well. Like,
doing great.
Could some of that come back down here? And they're like, what about, hear me out, $5 Starbucks gift card?
Here, listen to me. You think your coach is leaving, right? He's about to head off. He's going to go somewhere that people believe is better, right?
Would you like a pizza party?
How about we get a whole bunch of steaks?
Yeah. No, that's not how we're doing it. No,
we're not doing that.
People are getting paid.
No.
People are getting paid.
Cash money.
That way you get taken care of. And listen, I still think there is an extension coming. I think that gets announced. I still think it's before the end of the month. But sometime in the near future,
it's going to happen after this game.
You'll hear about an extension.
It's going to I'm gonna shoot my shot. It's happening next week.
Next week?
Next week. You're gonna see breaking. Matt Rhule signs blank year, blank money extension to stay at Nebraska.
Lifetime contract?
No,
they're
not doing that.
You don't think so?
No, they're not doing that.
Sam?
It'll be.
Sam got it from somewhere.
It'll be 7 years. How much did Cigs get?
Cignetti got 8 years, 93.
That makes him the highest paid in the Big Ten?
I think so. I believe so.
They can't make Rhule the highest paid in the Big Ten.
Probably not.
Can't. It just wouldn't be right because he hasn't done what Six has done. I'd say probably
that's ever mattered when you're paying guys. Have you ever seen the NFL quarterback market? Are you kidding me?
That's just a next up thing though. That's
how college football is too. Yes, the next guy up gets paid. Not bad. Do you want me to look up the list? Let's look up the list. Outside the top 2.
Unless you're Nick Saban, because remember his contract?
Yeah, his was.
He always had to be like top 3.
Yeah.
So it's like whenever somebody got a raise, he got a raise.
Absolutely, and well he should have.
That is great. That is a great contract.
Outside of the top couple, it's like, oh, that's just the next guy. It's just the next guy up. So you've got, so he'll pass Ryan Day, which he shouldn't pass Ryan Day.
No.
But then, Lincoln Riley was next up. He was there. Dan Lanning was next up. He's in the top 10. Kalen DeBoer was next up. He's in the top 10.
Yeah, but all those guys were doing really good.
How about Bill Belichick?
That was dumb. That was not smart. That was a dumb decision by the school. All right, that's not a next up. That's not a.
But
that's not an athletic department that knows what they're doing.
But when Dan Lanning got the contract, we didn't know he was good.
But to hire the defensive coordinator away from a national championship squad, you had.
Hold on. Think about this for a second. I need you to think about this for a second. All right, because this is the crazy thing about honestly Georgia, Ohio State, and Oregon in their last hires.
Okay.
All of those premier programs, right?
Yes.
Georgia, Ohio State, Oregon, premier football programs. 3 of the definitely top 10 programs in the country, maybe 3 of the top 6.
Okay.
Right? Mm-hmm. Incredible programs. Their last hires, coordinator, no experience, head coaching. Coordinator with no experience, head coaching. Coordinator with no experience, head coaching. None of those guys should have been. I mean, first of all, at those jobs, you can hire.
Ryan Day was handpicked, though.
That's fine.
So that's different.
Is it?
Yeah.
Frank Solich was handpicked.
Yeah.
It went well for a while.
It should have still been going.
Should have still been going.
Until like a few years ago when he was like, I'm done.
Yeah, I'm good here?
Yeah.
That's fine.
But that's on somebody else.
I'm just saying, generally,
somebody else's
handpicking your successor doesn't work great. In general, it just doesn't.
Name the last time it didn't work. No, I'm kidding. Don't do that.
Steve Belichick. But those three programs could go out and get a sitting head coach, right? Those three programs could go out and be like, hey, and Georgia's done it twice in a row because you know who their head coach was before Kirby Smart?
Wasn't it? No, I don't remember his name now.
Mark Richt.
There it is.
Who was a coordinator with no head coaching experience.
He did good though.
They have done good.
They've had smart hires.
They've had smart hires.
It's like they did their homework.
My point is though, when you're paying these smart hires on the front end, they haven't earned what they're just the next guy up. Hey, you're the next guy at a big time program. You have zero head coaching experience. Here's the money. Right? It's just the next guy up thing. So that doesn't tell me that much. Like if they make Rhule $12 million a year or $11 million a year, puts him either right below or right above Cignetti, I don't think that says anything. It's just he's the next extension. He's the next guy that somebody was going to try and poach, so he gets the money now. That's it. That's all it is. The money, the dollar amounts,
it doesn't matter.
Don't mean anything.
You're right.
Now it will be interesting to see if Rhule says, "Hey,
I want to know some of the stipulations in this.
Leave me at $8 million a year. Use the extra money for my roster."
Yeah.
Like if he says, hey, I get $8 million a year, but you have to devote X amount of money, or we have like 1890 is devoted, or whoever is devoted. I don't know how you would put that in the contract. Like it would be a little tricky.
That probably wouldn't even be in the contract. That's just something that he says.
I know, but like I do think you're going to start to see in some of these contracts because I think the numbers are going to start
coming down
a little bit, and the money's going to start going to rosters. Like I think you're at listen, then there's some places like Texas A&M where they're going to do both, or Texas where they're going to do both, or whatever,
Oil
right?
Money.
Yeah, or Texas Tech where they're just like, hey, apparently we're rich now.
They're just burning money
whatever.
At this point.
Or I guess Mark Cuban's funding Indiana football now, so that's fine.
That's whatever.
Allegedly.
They're like, oh, he's an alumni. He didn't graduate.
Well, listen,
he didn't have to.
He's big.
He was there. I'm pretty sure he was there for like a semester.
Listen, big fan of their
allegedly.
work.
I'm not gonna I don't know. I'm pretty sure.
I'm not putting his stuff on blast, but maybe he's like, hey, we love it here.
Yeah,
right?
I love Indiana.
We love Indiana,
which
football.
is why I bought the Dallas Mavericks.
Well,
there's an NBA franchise in Indiana. Does he know that?
I don't think the Pacers were for sale at the time.
All right.
I think he was just like, oh, who can I buy? Let's go Dallas.
Hey, who can I buy? That must be crazy.
Must be nice, right? But I do think you're going to start to that. Like that'll be interesting to see whenever the extension comes out, and I expect it to be relatively soon. It'll be interesting to see what the dollar amounts are, because I think that'll tell us a lot about where priorities are being placed. And maybe it'll be 10, 12, however many $1 million, and it still guarantees him so much money for his roster. But I do think you're going to start to see some restructuring of these contracts that aren't as outlandish in certain places.
That's how I felt about NIL when it first started getting started, and people were freaking out about the dollar amounts for these student athletes getting paid, and they're like, how is a quarterback in college making $10 million a year? I'm like, well, right now it's NIL's still new and people are freaking out and they're overspending for these players. At some point, it's going to come back down to earth, and you're going to, okay, maybe we don't give an 18-year-old $10 million or promise an 18-year-old $10 million off the bat. Maybe we'll give him, which is still only $3 million, right? And then if he progresses the way we believe he will, we'll continue to increase the amount. I feel like that version of the NIL and what you're saying with the coaches, those numbers are all going to start coming back down, because at the beginning of NIL and at the beginning of this new arms race for college football, people freaked out and were like, okay, we need a ton of money to start throwing it at people because other schools are doing it. Like everybody just assumed the next school was going to offer more.
Yeah, it was
an
arms race.
Yeah, nobody actually knew. They were just like, okay, they're gonna spend. Alabama's gonna offer this kid, $20 million. So what we have to do is we have to offer him $25 million, right? I mean, it's not million. It's like 250,000. All that stuff is when it first started. Now it's in the millions.
Depends what you believe.
But they're just like, we're going to offer him this much money because they're going to offer this much. And that team's like, well, they're going to offer this much and we're going to offer a whole bunch more. And the kids are sitting there like, I don't know what's happening, but I'm going to take this money regardless.
So Mike put an interesting comment out. I actually agree, Mike. He said if you saw McAfee, he seemed like something changed from his Monday presser. He received some assurances he will stay. That's basically what we're saying, right?
Yeah.
Is he went in Monday wanting to stay, but being like, hey, we need some more money for the roster. At some point over the last few days, they're like, hey, we're going to have this amount of money for your roster year in and year out. And he's like, hey, Pat McAfee, destination job. Why would we go anywhere?
Yep.
Like I'm pretty sure, listen, I don't want to give him too much credit, but I'm pretty sure this was his chess move being like, hey, I can use this to get the things that I need.
And can I say something without being completely disrespectful to his previous 2 collegiate stops?
Sure.
Everybody keeps going back to, well, he said the same thing at Baylor. He said the same thing at Temple. And then guess what? He left. Temple wasn't a destination job. Temple was a group of 5 school that was doing really well under him. But guess what? You can go somewhere, get paid more, and get better players. That was Baylor.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that. You can be in Baylor, which is in Waco, Texas, which is, although he brought it up to a higher level in the Big 12, still not a premier program in the Big 12.
Also, it's Waco, Texas.
Yeah, and it's a private university, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, it's tough to get into.
Yeah.
So even if you want to go get the best players that you can possibly get, it's kind of tough because first they have to get in academically. They have to be able. I know they're saying the scholarships, but some of them still have to be able to afford to get into Baylor. Not a destination job. So he goes off to the NFL. The NFL thing doesn't work out. We all know that. He keeps mentioning it. Carolina, not a great place for him coaching-wise. Nebraska. I understand how some people feel about Nebraska and, oh, it's just cornfields and it's agriculture and it's not great and it's this and it's that. But you go and many people have said it, Nebraska is a blue blood program. Also, it's a place where you win football games and you are revered as a fantastic head coach because it's a great program to be at. It's got tons of support. You can get premier players to Nebraska because it's centralized and it's easy to get to, and it's easy for players' families to fly into either Omaha or Lincoln and get to a game and fly out, and it's all right here. You're not going, 15 hours one way and 3 hours another. Like it's all right here.
Well, and it's not an accident that he mentioned, hey, Lincoln's got 300,000 people.
Yeah.
Like that was a very specific thing. And I think I don't want to say it was a shot at Happy Valley, but Happy Valley, I think, is like 40,000. It's basically Grand Island. I mean, and no offense to the 308, but like when he says I can do whatever I want here, like there's things to do here. There's 300,000 people. Like that's not an accident. He's reminding people, hey, this is maybe a better place to live than Waco, Texas, or Happy Valley State College, Pennsylvania, whatever
I
you
forgot
want.
what it was.
Like that's most, like, if you pay attention to what he says, he's telling you basically everything, right? Like he's telling you, this is a reason why I'm staying. This is a reason why I'm staying. And one of those reasons, and I think he's also reminding recruits, hey, you may not know anything about Lincoln, Nebraska. There's 300,000 people here. We did a video.
You want to know how many people are in State College?
How many?
41,228 as of 2024.
What did I say? 40?
You were close.
How many? How many's in Grand Island? I don't think it's quite 40. I'm not sure. It might be 40.
That's a great question.
That is a great
It's
question.
an excellent question. Austin would know.
More. 53,250.
See, there you go.
There are more people in Grand Island than in State College.
So, like,
why doesn't Grand Island have a college?
Kearney took it.
You're right.
Those
Kearney only has 34,741 though.
So Kearney is like UNK.
Kearney is State College.
UNK is basically Penn State.
I'd bet on UNK every day of the week.
I'm just saying, like UNK is basically Penn State.
Give me the Lopers.
So like I know you went to Kearney, so you may be like, I'll take Kearney over Lincoln. A lot of people wouldn't. And if Lincoln had offered you a scholarship, I bet you would have.
You know what?
Am I wrong?
You ain't wrong.
Am I right?
You ain't wrong. But I do love me my Lopers.
Listen, no, we love UNK. We love Coach Held. We love the Lopers. We love Division II athletics.
We love Brady Bonzel.
We love everybody. Everybody love everybody. But
don't make me tap the sign.
If you're if you're Matt Rhule, are you like, hey, I'm going to move to this place where it's not as accessible. There's not as much to do. It's not as attractive Lincoln is genuinely more attractive to college age people than a lot of the cities in the Big Ten. Like it actually is. I know people think of Nebraska a certain way, but I think it's one of the better college towns in the country. Cause like, I don't know if you've been to like Norman.
I have actually.
Stillwater.
I have not.
Or like, there's some places.
Keep going. I'll let you know.
There's some places that are like, have you been to Champaign?
No, I want to though.
Lincoln and Champaign are not that different.
No,
I don't think. I think they have a very similar vibe. Like it's like the college is the town, but it's just a much bigger, like it's the center of the town basically, but it's a much bigger place. I think Champagne's around 250. Like they're similar sizes.
Yeah.
It's a like did I say Lafayette? West Lafayette.
I don't want to go there.
Nobody wants to go to West Lafayette. Bloomington.
I actually do.
Have you been to Bloomington?
I haven't, but I want to. That stadium looks sick.
No, it looks great. I would like to go to a basketball game there.
Plus, their football team's pretty good now.
Apparently, yeah. Iowa City's pretty similar to Lincoln, I think.
I don't want to go there.
I don't either because it's
Iowa.
Iowa.
Avoid Iowa at
if I just skip right over it.
Yeah. The broken chair skipped Iowa.
They did. It's like,
north.
No, we're not doing
South
that.
Dakota, much better state.
Like Minneapolis, that's a cool city.
I've been there. Beautiful city.
Minneapolis is cool.
Beautiful.
You know, Evanston's cool. You're right outside Chicago.
It's not even.
Yeah, it's Chicago. Like
but it's also not. Like they're like, oh, we're Chicago's big. No, you're not.
Honestly, it's because nobody cares about them in Chicago. It's not because they're not in Chicago. Like
Chicago doesn't care about.
You basically end up from like you're on the North Shore and then you drive like 4 minutes. You're like, oh, I'm in Evanston.
Yeah,
like it's.
I didn't know that. I went to Chicago once for a basketball game.
Yeah,
went to go watch the Bulls and the Rockets play. Shout out to Carmelo Anthony when he was on the Rockets, and we were driving and all of a sudden it was like, welcome to Evanston. I was like, what? It's just right here. That's amazing. And then we were like, I was like, we should go visit Northwestern. And my wife was like, why? And I was like, you're right. You're right. Why would we?
He goes, Edley says Champaign is dirty. Listen, there's some parts of Champaign that could use some cleaning up. I'm not going to lie.
Parts of every city that could use
absolutely.
Some not you know.
Lee says Tuscaloosa sucks. FYI. Somebody in the chat, I don't know who that is, says Iowa City is ass.
Deep fried.
Asian Wyatt says I used to live in Little Apple. Strip clubs are mediocre in neighboring Junction City.
Do they have any pink buildings?
I have been to Manhattan. Manhattan's not great. Lawrence isn't great.
I've been to Lawrence.
It's fine.
It's
Lincoln's better.
I've been to the Fog.
The Fog. Yeah. No,
honestly, it's aight.
Yeah, it's fine.
Like it's historic, but it's historic.
That's kind of how I felt about Hinkle when I went to Butler. Like it was cool because I'm a big Hoosiers fan and stuff, and so I was like, "Oh, the stadium is cool."
Like I was excited, and I get in there, and I was like, "This is a basketball
arena."
You're
like, "Oh, this is a 100-year-old stadium."
This thing is old.
I mean,
and they were like, "You know what we should do with these speakers? Put them up to 1,000."
Josh, and
I was like, "I can't do this right now."
Josh says Lincoln is Ann Arbor with less hippies. I say that living 10 minutes from Ann Arbor. Yeah, that's fair.
How dare you?
You know, there's some pretty cool destinations, but like as far as college town goes, Lincoln's a better option than a lot of places.
Lincoln's probably number 2.
After what? Minneapolis?
No.
Number 2? After what?
Wisconsin.
Madison sucks.
But college kids.
Madison sucks.
They love Madison.
That's because they haven't been to Lincoln.
All they do is drink.
Yes, because there's a lack of drinking in Nebraska.
But they do it more. It's scientifically proven.
Because they have to numb the pain of living in Wisconsin.
Either way, they drink a lot. That's all college kids want to do. Am I wrong?
I do think
you're going to tell me. You're going to look at me and tell me I'm wrong.
I do.
She came down in a bubble, Doug.
You're telling me she was a witch?
And what was her sister? And what was her sister? The Wicked Witch of the East, bro.
I think Madison and Wisconsin sucks.
I can't disagree.
The book right now, we ass.
You ain't wrong.
That's what they say. That's what people say when they're in Wisconsin. That's why they start drinking.
I can't even be mad at it.
And they just never stop.
I can't be mad at it.
Listen, outside the drinking, there's nothing to do in Madison.
Drink beer and eat cheese.
Terrible food scene.
And watch bad football and slow basketball.
Yeah, and then try and find enough money to fire your head coach.
Good luck.
They're looking.
Sell a lot of cheese.
They're out there looking.
A lot of coaches getting fired nowadays. We should talk about that.
What?
A lot of coaches getting fired nowadays.
There are a lot of coaches getting fired nowadays. Left Coast Husker says, I live in California and loved my time in Lincoln. People need to drink a nice warm glass and shut the hell up when disparaging it. LOL. All right, let's give a.
Is a glass of shut the hell up better when it's warm or cold?
I don't think it's pleasant either way.
Okay.
Doesn't seem like it's
everybody always says a
nice
warm glass of.
I don't really like warm beverages in general. I am a cold beverage guy. I like a lot of ice in my drinks. I'd struggle in Europe, I think.
Yeah.
But it is what it is.
Austin, they're making them at night. That's what I meant.
The Badgers are definitely making them at night.
No, you're not.
Making them during the day. That's Rico. That's an incredibly inside joke. We're going to take a quick break here. I want to get to some of these head coaches that have been fired. Lee says in Madison, I saw college kids throwing full beers at elder folks, worst fans in the world. There you go.
I didn't say they were good. I just said that as a college town, they like it there.
Well, it's because they've never been anywhere else.
Okay.
A lot of insulation in Wisconsin there. We'll just say that. What's that trophy for, Rico?
I won a pie eating contest at a Trunk or Treat last night.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I did.
What kind of pie was it?
It was the whipped topping, and they just put a whole bunch of it in a pie tin.
Famously not a pie.
It out. No hands, just
not a pie. You just ate Cool Whip. That's all.
But I won, though.
That is, you could. I'm not.
Guess what that is? Not a plate.
I'm not disparaging the win. I'm disparaging the pie. We'll be back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely not necessarily easy, but I think in practice, that's when it starts, is like regardless of what my role may look like at practice, like embracing that and doing that to the best of my abilities. And I think that transfers over into the matches, and it's not necessarily like harder to do it in matches if that's what I'm doing every day in practice. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I talked to Jordan Larson about this the other day, but you have a lot more respect for people that come off the bench and play well because it's not an easy role to have at all. But I would say just like it makes you a more mature player. You have a lot more maturity for like when you do get your opportunities, like really embracing them and going out there and like playing with no regrets. And I feel like that's something that I've really tried to focus on, is regardless of when I go in, it's like, am I going to walk out whether I play well or whether I don't, like being regretful? And I think like I haven't been recently, so that's something I'm really proud of. But yeah.
See a lot of teams moving away from the, hey, let's bring in a one-year guy, and starting to say, hey, let's go get a great freshman. And these freshmen are saying to themselves, like, hey, he's a redshirt freshman. Obviously, hey, there's great opportunities at all kinds of schools. And so I thought all the players we've played against have done a great job. I think the thing with the quarterback we're facing this week is he's got a big-time arm. We go back to high school. I studied when they're freshman quarterbacks. I watched their high school film and watch everything. A guy can throw the ball 80 yards. He can make every single throw. he's going to throw the ball up for 50-50 catches. It'll be their wideouts versus our DBs down the field. And so he's not necessarily a guy who can move, but he's a gamer. When I say move, he's not a guy who's going to run and kind of like the young man from Michigan State, Michigan or Maryland. But he's going to get the ball out. He plays really fast with his brain, makes a bunch of really good pre-snap checks. We'll have to hold our disguises inside of 15 seconds because, that way they can't. Young quarterbacks you like to talk to, like we don't talk to Dylan. We don't say, hey, it looks like it's one high. Dylan's being trained. We're training Dylan to be an NFL quarterback.
Imagine your first dream home and the feeling of walking inside for the first time. With Centrist Federal Credit Union's First Time Home Buyers program, you are at the doorstep of bringing your vision to life. Welcome home. From your neighborhood mortgage experts, Centrist Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live. It's the Friday Coach's Corner.
This is a process that we're going through. And although we're looking for the winning edge, shortcuts aren't one of them.
Hello? This is what the greatest thing about sports is. You play to win the game.
Can you believe they called that play?
I formation, quick 141. 94. Fullback banana, hot right.
Round left, wide, nasty, 16 lead pass.
Just what were those coaches thinking?
They are who we thought they were. We let them off the hook.
On the Friday Coach's Corner.
Hey, the spot! He's up here, sir.
You misplaced the line of scrimmage, you bunch of dummies.
It's the Friday Coach's Corner.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centrist Federal Credit Union. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. We are joined now by the head football coach of Omaha Westside, Paul Lamangi. Coach, how are we doing this morning?
I'm good. How you guys doing?
Oh, we're doing pretty well. So, Coach, we'll jump right in here. I've seen your team play 3 times over the course of the year so far. I saw them early in the year. I think it was the Omaha North game, and then I saw you against Central, and then I saw you against Elkhorn South. It looks like the amount of growth you've had from game 1 to now has been enormous. How has that felt internally?
Well, that's the plan. That's what we want to do. We want to get better each day and each week. If you're not progressing, you're declining. So we want to go into every day trying to get a little better than we were the day before. And you want to be playing your best football in late October, going in November. And we try to work really hard at, building on our positives and improving our negatives. And I think our guys buy into that. And, they seem to execute that way of thinking, and that's kind of what we've been doing. Hopefully we continue that.
Coach, when you drop a game like the one you did a couple weeks ago to Omaha Central, a lot of people use a term like, oh, it's a wake-up call or whatever. I know, you guys have been, really good and really talented for the last few years, haven't lost a ton of regular season games. Do you feel like that did give you a little bit of a jolt at all, or was it just an example of like, hey, here are some of the things we've been telling you that we need to get better at, and it kind of bit us today?
Yeah, a little bit of both. I mean, we simply didn't get it done that night, and our kids understood that. We took full responsibility for it. I did, our staff did, and we just need to get back to basics and fundamentals and play up to our standard. We needed to have a better week of preparation. We needed more focus. We needed to be a little bit more physical, and you can never take things for granted. You got only a certain amount of opportunities, and you got to go full throttle every single time. So I think we learned from it. And I did think it woke us up that we can't just show up, especially at home. We had a pretty good home winning streak for a while. And, we got a little shell shocked. And even though we showed great fight and we showed some resilience coming back and just ran out of time, I thought we ended the game well. We looked good in terms of our condition. We just didn't make the plays we needed to make, and we made some mistakes, and we didn't. I just simply didn't get the guys ready to go that night, and we responded. And every week's new, and every week you go into the most important game on your schedule, and you got to have that type of urgency. So that we just went back to work and worked a little bit harder on certain things.
Well, that certainly appeared to be effective against Elkhorn South last week. Really impressive performance there against a really good Elkhorn South team. It's got, obviously Sutco gets a lot of the headlines with his running ability and things like that. When you're going up against a guy that has kind of a reputation like Sutco does, or, you've played a lot of teams like that over the course of the season and over the course of the last few years, like, how do you – I know that a lot of times coaches like to game plan in different ways. How do you like to game plan when you're going in for a team like Elkhorn South, where they're really talented, they're really tough? Like, how do you get your guys focused in on a game like that?
Well, you kind of got to look at what they do best, and you got to look for ways to put your defense in a situation to stop those plays. And we always use an analogy that it's like 11 guys against one football. So our guys take that approach, and anytime we face a challenge of any sorts, we try to solve our problems with aggression, and then let the chips fall where they may. So we just wanted to go in and attack the best we could. We wanted to, read our keys and then just go. And we just felt that if we play with hesitation, if we worry about this or that, we're going to be in trouble. That back at Elk South is a really, really good back. He's very patient. Their whole offense is patient, and they wait for you to make a mistake. So what we did is we attacked everything, and we just got our guys in that type of mentality. And then we saw a ball, we just had to go get it, and our guys responded to that, and they, Elk South responded on some big plays, and he got loose a couple times, but for the most part, we really were proud of how our guys played that night in all phases.
Speaking of running backs, Coach, you have your own talented running back, Trae Jenkins, with his big playability. He was able to break some big ones. Can you tell me what separates him from the other running backs that you've had at Westside? Yeah,
we've had some great backs here, and the thing that makes Trae a really good back is he could do a multiple of things. Obviously he's a really good runner. He sees the field. He has great vision. He sees the seams, and he hits it hard, and he's hard to find. He has great balance and strength and speed. But he also does the little things. He's really a good blocker for blitz protection, and he's outstanding out of the backfield. He's a great ball catcher. So he does a lot of good things really well. And when he's locked in, he's dangerous. And we just want to make sure that he continues to get better and continues to grow and continues to work out in terms of his weights. He's not a very big kid, so he's got to lift during the season hard, keep that strength and body weight up. But we really love what he adds to our offense.
Coach, as you look ahead to Creighton Prep tonight, that's a game that for a very long time has been a big rivalry for Westside and for Prep, but it's been a little different in recent years as Prep was kind of building up with a younger roster kind of to this point where they've become a very good football team. Does the current kind of crop of players that you have appreciate the history with Creighton Prep, or is it just, hey, next team up on the schedule, good football team, got to go get it?
Both. So we obviously know you go to Westside, you have a rival, and everybody knows who that rival is. I mean, our guys have been hearing, the same things, all week, all season, that this is the biggest game of on our schedule, and it is a big game. But for us, we take the mentality that we understand the rivalry, and the intensity of it. But for us, we take the approach it's the biggest game of the year because it's the next game. We really try to focus on that, and we're trying to get up this mountain of a season, and it's the step in front of us, and that's what we got to focus on. But obviously, our kids understand the rivalry that's been created with the two schools and the communities being involved and the student bodies. So it's going to be an intense night tonight at Phelps, and we love that.
Coach, I just want to ask you real quick, because there's one of my favorite things about high school football is there's these players that are just incredible high school football players. Maybe they go on to play in college, maybe they don't. Maybe it's D2, maybe it's an FCS school, whatever. But they're not getting the headlines that the power conference recruits are. You've got one of those guys, I think, on your team, and I don't know what level he's going to end up playing at, but he's one of my favorite guys to watch in Quentin Warren. Incredible defensive player. Saw him get some wildcat in against Elkhorn South, which was incredible to watch as well. Like, is he a guy like Quentin, the type of guy that makes coaching high school football just what makes it all worth it?
Yeah, and we got a couple guys like Quentin.
Sure,
we got a Hudson Meade type that's probably not even going to play in college, that's having a phenomenal year. But with Quentin, he doesn't come off the field. I mean, he's so versatile, so tough. He could do so many different things that I told him the other day in the weight room that I really appreciate everything you do for us. Defensively, he's a staple and leader of our defense from the linebacker position. Usually plays outside, but even there we could do a variety of things with him, whether bringing him off the edge or having him play in coverage. Teams tend to run away from him, so we have to be pretty creative and put him in places where they don't think he'll be. And then offensively, I mean, he does a little bit of everything. I mean, he's a tight end, he's an H-back, he's a fullback, he's a tailback, he's a quarterback. The things he has to learn each week at different spots is truly unbelievable. I mean, he blocks, he catches, he runs, and then, we might even throw him behind center a little bit too to do some things. So, he's got a lot going on before a game, but he loves it, and he just wants to play. And when he comes out, even for a break or a blow on one side of the ball, like he's like itching to get back in. So he's what Westside football is all about.
Oh, that's awesome, Coach. It's like I said, it's kids like that are what I love about high school football. Obviously, it's fun to watch the super high end recruits and things like that, but this is a name you might remember. He sort of reminds me, when you're talking about all the different things that he does for you, he kind of reminds me of a guy from about 20 years ago named Keith Lloyd at Millard North. I don't know if that name rings any bells for you, but that dude did everything. And I think he ended up throwing track in college, but didn't end up playing college football.
How do you always find a way to make it about Millard North?
Listen, because it's a great place to have gone to school. There's a lot of good examples there. But those are the kind of kids that make high school football great to watch, Coach. So I'm glad I get to watch one with your squad there. And you tell Quentin he's got a fan, all right?
Absolutely.
Coach, can we quell the rumors that you might be looking at the Penn State job?
Do they need an equipment manager? Yeah, or maybe somebody dish out water. Yeah, whatever it takes.
I'm just saying. I mean, they saw your record, they saw the championships that you're winning. They're like, you know what? Maybe we go get this guy.
Yeah. That's unfortunately, I don't think that's true. But thanks for the compliment,
Coach. We appreciate your time. Good luck tonight, and we'll talk to you again soon.
All right, thanks, guys.
That is head coach of Omaha Westside, Paul Lamanji. Good conversation with Coach there.
He'd be able to break through the glass ceiling that Penn State's been facing.
I mean, listen, man, I wouldn't bet against him.
He's winning titles. I'm just saying.
It's not a guy I would bet against.
Take a look.
That's that's a good football coach and a tough dude. So great to talk to Coach Lamanji there. Listen, I wasn't going to bring it up, but he goes on. He's describing this guy. I'm like, listen, it's a lot like Keith Lloyd.
Every time with you.
Listen, it's my best frame of reference for good high school football.
You know what you're talking about? Championships and Heisman's. Let me tell you about these Millard North.
Have you ever heard
North Mustangs?
You ever heard of a guy named Eric Crouch?
Let me tell you about. So you talk about home runs, Olympic championships. Let me tell you about these guys in Millard North.
Well, listen, when you can do everything, you can do everything. I don't know what to tell you.
You're ridiculous.
I don't know what to tell you.
It's impressive, though. It is impressive.
My ability to bring everything back to Millard North.
Every single time.
Listen, it's what we do here. It's what we do here.
Can't get mad at you
I
sometimes.
was, Pierce Mooberry's been getting in on special teams too. Just saying.
I do like Pierce Mooberry.
I
do like Pierce Mooberry.
Mooberry's pretty good. Pierce Mooberry's pretty good.
It's also a solid name.
Yeah, great name. Great name. And he's pretty good.
I'm saying.
We love us some Pierce Mooberry here.
Once he's out there and making big plays,
oh yeah,
that jersey's gonna sell like hotcakes.
Oh yeah, 100%. Mooberry, that's a Nebraska name right there.
The Mooberry jersey is going to take over Nebraska fraternities.
Oh yeah, we're gonna get some merch. We're gonna get some merch going.
It's gonna be ridiculous.
It's gonna be great.
And I'm a fan.
We'd love to see it. That's our number one here on Hurrdat Sports Live. Coming next, your favorite Tim Verghese here on the show. He'll join us in just a few minutes. I want to ask him a question. For some reason, Trae Taylor's been coming up a lot in conversations that I've had with people. I don't know if it's because it wasn't just with you guys in the office.
I know. I'm just.
But so I want to, for people that don't know or haven't had a chance to watch, I want to ask Tim his thoughts on Trae Taylor. People like his talent evals and things like that. So we'll talk to Tim about that. We'll also talk to him about everything else going on with Nebraska football. But if you're out on the roads this morning, make sure you get that seatbelt fastened. It prevents injuries and saves lives, but only if worn properly. Make it click. This message from the NDOT Highway Safety Office. We'll be right back. More Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think her approach to practice has gotten so good in the last couple of months. It's just like every day she's really consistent. And I think she's becoming a leader in her own way, even though she's not starting, which I don't know if early on she would have thought she could do that. But I think she's becoming a really good leader and somebody our team really looks to, and especially in times of stress. And then I just think her overall play has improved a ton. So I think she's putting more pace on the ball on her attacks, and then her blocking has improved quite a bit.
Neighborhood just down the street with a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis so you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, all the time. My sister mainly played in Cliff Keene, and the basketball team was in Chrysler, but a few of their big games that they played in Chrysler, I was always there. So I'm really excited to go back there, and I get to see a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends go to school there, and a lot of my family's from there. So I'm really excited to go home and just spend some time with them and be home. We're actually going to go to dinner at my house Saturday night, so I'm really excited to bring everyone back. Yeah, we have season tickets to basically all the sports there. So me and my mom were at basketball games a lot, and my brother played basketball in college, so that was always something me and him did together. We went to those games. So Chrysler is a great place, and I love all the facilities that they have there. It's super homey for me, and it's fun to go around there and just see everything. And I hope my teammates can get a little taste of what I grew up with, and it's just really exciting.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
We don't ever, one thing I learned during COVID, I don't ever say to myself, like, this guy might be out, this guy, like, we're just playing this guy's number, because you don't want to underestimate the backups when they come in at any position. And I'm assuming that everyone's going to be, that's the one thing, going back to the first question I was asked about handling, this position. It's about understanding that every team's going to play at 100 against you, just assuming that, and not being like, well, this team's this and that team's that and this team's this. Like that's losing mentality. Winning mentality is everyone's going to be at 100 against us, so I need to be at 100. And we've had a physical week, and we've also had a week to prepare them as well to get their bodies. So I'm excited.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, reminding you it only takes 4 hours a month to make a big difference in a kid's life. You can just hang out. You don't have to do anything crazy. Shoot hoops, grab some food, or just hang out at the library. The littlest moments make the biggest impact. Go to bbbsmidlands.org to learn more and sign up to be a mentor today. We are joined now by Tim Verghese from Inside Nebraska. Tim, how are we doing this morning?
Hey, how we doing, guys?
Fantastic. Good. Can I ask you a question? What's the strangest way anybody's ever pronounced your last name?
Ooh, Verghese's like what's common, like the common mispronunciation. I've had Verghese. That's been different. That was different. I think I was in high school. I think a substitute teacher. That's probably the worst one is the high school substitute teachers.
Has anybody ever gone like full Italian and been like Verghese?
No. I mean, they go and look and they're like, yeah, it's not that.
But it could. Tim, so I've been randomly in like lots of conversations this week, and we can get to Rhule and all this kind of stuff and whatever here in a minute. But for some reason, several people this week have started asking me and talking to me about Trae Taylor. I don't know if it's because he's been active on Twitter through this whole Rhule thing or whatever, but a lot of people have asked me like, hey, what do you think of this guy? What do you think of him as an actual quarterback and a prospect? I know you have strong Trae Taylor feelings, so I thought I would just go to the talent eval guy himself. When people ask you what we should think about Trae Taylor as a future Nebraska quarterback, what do you tell them?
Yeah, so I think his junior year so far has been very informative as to what Nebraska's getting and what he can be down the line. I mean, the big question for him going into this year was, can he win games? Last year they went 3-6. They didn't win enough, and that's like ultimately the only reason he isn't a 5-star was there wasn't enough wins. He hadn't led his team to enough wins, and so now he's done it in multiple instances, gone back and forth. It was a loss, but went back and forth in a nationally spotlighted game against Israel Abrams, another top quarterback in the 2027 cycle. He's done a lot of just kind of putting the team on his back, leading his team down the field to victory. And then the other part of this has been this year he's really started to use his legs a lot more and kind of found himself being more of a weapon. I think something I was surprised at the first time I turned on his sophomore tape was how sudden he was and how little he was actually using that suddenness just as a mover. And you're starting to see that more now. You're starting to see him really just take advantage of the open space he has. And so when you're looking at him, I think at the baseline, you're looking at a guy that is one of the more consistent throwers in the class in terms of velocity he gets at all three levels of the field, the touch he throws with. This year, his deep ball accuracy has really come together. That was something that he had in his bag, but it's really been harnessed this year in terms of the consistent accuracy. Game to game, you're starting to see that a little more. He's pretty safe with the football, intuitive. He's as a junior, he is essentially running his own offense. His dad's his offensive coordinator. But if he's in the flow of the game, I mean, his dad essentially, like, he just lets him kind of call the plays, and because he knows what he's seeing out there, he trusts what his son's kind of seeing out there. So you're talking about a guy that's calling his own offenses. And it's not just, again, a high school offense. He's installed concepts from Dana Holgerson's offense in his own in order to prep himself for Nebraska. You're talking about a guy that at all three levels of the field is delivering with timing and consistency and consistent velocity. Again, the velocity he gets on the ball was something that when we were at Rivals 5-star, was like, okay, none of these other guys are getting it as consistently as Trae is. Like, it's not coming off the ball for like Colton Nussmeier and any of these like national type 27, 26 quarterbacks, Teddy Gerard, any of them, because it's not coming off their hand the way it's coming off of Trae's consistently. And so it's accuracy and velocity are the two best things he does as a thrower of the football. And then his ability as a dual threat guy and his ability to kind of extend plays and his mental makeup are why you kind of bet on him long term. I've said this for a bit. And again, it's not a bad thing at all. I think everyone in the building understands their role and understands the quarterback they currently have and how talented he is. You're going to see this offense, as long as Dana Holgerson is here, you're going to see this offense evolve and shift once the reins are turned over to TJ Lateef and then eventually Trae Taylor. Like, those two are more dual threat. They fit more of a dual threat type scheme. I think there's going to be a little more that Nebraska can do in the QB run game when it's time for those two to play. But right now, I mean, obviously, like, again, everyone understands that Dylan is the most talented of the three at this very moment. Down the line, that could change. I think Trae, his ceiling long term is arguably higher than Dylan's, only because when you look at that frame and what that could eventually look like. He's 6'3" right now, on the north side of 200, but doesn't look it. Like, he's skinnier than me, you know what I mean? Like, or like off the hoof at least. But that's a guy that is going to be like 230, like can potentially put up to 225, 230 pounds once he's truly in like a true strength and conditioning program and is able to kind of just add mass to his frame. That's going to be the biggest question is long term. Like Jaden Daniels, can he put on the mass to his frame that can allow him to play at a high level? Jaden Daniels has been the comp for a while. I don't necessarily agree, because I think Trae's a better throw of the football and a more like a better quarterback at this point in his development. But there's a lot of similarities there. Just bigger frame quarterbacks that are slighter from a build standpoint, but are pretty dynamic as a thrower and a runner. But their best stuff is kind of in the pocket.
I mean, his skill on the field is pretty evident, and we can see that. But what about his skill on the recruiting trail? I mean, to have your 27 quarterback in the fold already, and for him to be as locked in with Nebraska as he is, as with this whole Rhule drama going on, him saying he's locked in, recruits, whether you're looking at Nebraska, where you're committed to Nebraska, like, this is the place to be, come talk to me. Like, how important is it, and how great has it been for Nebraska to have a guy like an ambassador like Trae Taylor with not only the skill, but the way that he's able to talk to people and get people to love Nebraska potentially?
Yeah, it's super rare, because whenever anyone gets these early, I mean, you look at around who else has 2027 quarterbacks committed early on. It's Ohio State and Notre Dame and it's the programs that have won things and have accomplishments and have a pedigree and all of that. And it's programs where quarterbacks are racing to claim their spot. And this cycle, that did happen in 27, where it was like kind of just like Nebraska was like, okay, well, we like Trae and we'll see if anyone else pops up, but Trae's going to be our guy. And they were able to get Trae committed. And so now, like, he has been relentless. I've never seen across any of my stops, like at Michigan, at JJ was a pretty vocal peer recruiter from what I had heard, but I don't think it was to this extent at Michigan. At A&M, there were guys that were peer recruiters and did their job to reach out and try and help others to commit. It was never to this extent, like what Trae's doing and the communication he's doing, he's going above and beyond, just in the sense that, like, I mean, he's in touch with Ahmad Hudson like once a week. Those two just kind of hang, they play video games together or whatever. Like, but he's in touch, just kind of keeping Nebraska in Ahmad's ear. He's constantly in touch with Mark Matthews. Like he told me in the summer when he was going down to the battle when he was going down to the OT7 championships, which were in Miami this year, in South Florida this year. While he was down there, he tried to make it out to go see Mark Matthews, to go spend some time around Mark Matthews, who those two have never been around each other in person, but wanted to spend some time and peer recruit him. Mark just happened to be at Future 50 that weekend in Orlando, so that wasn't able to work out. But like every time when he's at 7-on-7 tournaments this offseason, every time he's at places, he's thinking about how can I peer recruit for Nebraska, and that's rare. That's really rare. And it's why Nebraska has a shot at putting together a top 5 class, because guys want to play with this kid. He is that kind of personality. And on field this year, I think that's been the big part of it. On field this year, there's no denying that, like, okay, well, this is a guy, like this is one of the top quarterbacks in the country. Certainly one of the top 5 in the country, has a chance to push for top 3 through this offseason. I think his talent level and I think the vocal peer recruiting that he's doing is so big for Nebraska. It's why they're going to have a shot at Ahmad Hudson, why they're going to have a shot at potentially Albert Simeon, Kennedy Brown, and Mark Matthews, and some of these top receivers in the country. The staff is doing an excellent job of setting the table and getting Nebraska in these guys' ears, but it's Trae that's doing a lot of this work that's keeping Nebraska in these recruitments. And ultimately, I think the momentum that he started is going to be a key reason why Nebraska is going to have a chance for those guys.
Tim, as we kind of talk about the Rhule drama, have you seen or talked to any of the recruits either that are currently committed or that Nebraska has been talking to or targeting, whether in 26 or 27? Have you talked to any of them that were concerned about this, or how are they processing this whole situation? I know Nebraska became very active, offering a few Penn State decommits during this week as well. Like, how is this week's news kind of sat with the to both targets and committed players?
So I think initially there was some, obviously just some, like, well, what's going on? And it didn't really help that it got as big as it did. Like post-hiring, it was clearly like, everyone was running with the Rhule to top candidate. And so it got a little out there before, the staff really had an opportunity to address it with everybody. But once, everyone kind of had everyone kind of understands what the deal is. I mean, the players have an understanding that he's sticking around. The recruits have an understanding that Rhule's sticking around, that it's business as usual. And again, at this point, at the same time, though, Nebraska has no incentive to say anything else, and so, at least through this week, it's been, hey, nothing's changing. Like we're here, and he straight up just said, whether it's him or a staff member, it's been the message has been like, he's going to be your coach next year, so it's I don't think there's a whole lot of actual concern, and I think a lot of these guys are staying patient with how this is going to play out. I mean, again, like Trae was the one that was like, I'm going to keep an eye on how this goes, only because, he said multiple times he's at Nebraska as long as Matt Rhule and Dana Holgorsen are at Nebraska. He's a big fan of those two guys, wants to play for those two guys. Glenn Thomas as well wants to play for those guys, but he's had other schools reaching out. That's why part of the reason why he wanted to shut things down was, he just wanted to tell other schools that and tell other recruits that, hey, nothing's changing at Nebraska. Kind of being that vocal, like the piece of vocal support, just like Dylan was. But also slow down his recruitment a little bit too, and it's not going to stop schools from trying. I mean, if a school still wants an opportunity, they're going to still keep reaching out, but kind of slow down some of the communication and let schools know that, hey, like there's nothing here. Like you're not going to have a chance at flipping him. So that was the one that early on this week was like just a little interesting. But again, I figured as soon as he had a conversation with the staff, things would get smoothed over. But yeah, that's where we're at. I don't think anyone's super concerned about it. And again, I think as we've seen this week play out, it just kind of, it doesn't feel like this, they're not operating like a staff that's on the move. Like I've seen people, freaking out about the Penn State offers, acting like this is something that Rhule and the staff are doing to set themselves up for the next move. That's not what's happening here. Nebraska and other programs smell blood in the water in the Northeast right now. The Penn State under James Franklin dominated that area and recruit. Like if they wanted a guy, there were guys that they were just going to like no one really had a chance to come on spell until Penn State started to struggle a little bit this year. Messiah Mickens, their 4-star running back this cycle. A lot of those guys up there are Penn State guys that I've continued to stick with their Penn State commitment despite reopening things, because they want to give whoever that next staff is a chance. They want to play at Penn State. But there is a vacuum right now because James Franklin is not there. There's currently a vacuum that Notre Dame is racing to fill, that Ohio State is racing to fill, that Nebraska is racing to fill, that Syracuse is racing to fill. A bunch of these schools are racing to fill. There's a power vacuum right now in the Northeast, and Nebraska's doing their due diligence because they have needs along the defensive line. Penn State has a few defensive line guys that, and they obviously made a Wisconsin D-line offer as well. But there's guys at Penn State that they'd like an opportunity to get a shot at that they didn't have a chance at the first time around because it was just a foregone conclusion. Those guys were Penn State bound.
Tim, as you look at the game tonight against Minnesota, obviously I think Nebraska is more talented than Minnesota. I think they've got some advantages here. Is there a certain part of this matchup that you like particularly the most for Nebraska, or is there a place that you feel a little bit concerned?
I think the one that I was surprised by just getting into the stats and watching both teams was the special teams of it all. Like how that's been a unit where, at least with Minnesota, I feel like it's not been something where I've been like, oh, they're bad or they're an issue, but like this feels like a year where like, okay, well, Nebraska's significantly better in this department than Minnesota is. And I also think just again, like just watching this Minnesota team just doesn't feel like the PJ Fleck teams of old, and like I went back and, like 2 years ago when the last time Nebraska was there, when the last time Nebraska played them, yeah, they weren't running the ball like they have in years past, but I don't know. I just got a weird vibe on this team. Like this feels like the first year in a while that Nebraska is the more talented team and the deeper team and the more complete team. And for all those reasons, I think Nebraska should be able to win this game, but Nebraska-Minnesota games are always weird. This kind of turns into Iowa a little bit, where Minnesota is kind of that team that waits for you to make mistakes, and Nebraska kind of has to avoid those. But if I like my prediction or my feel on this is if Nebraska's offense gets off to the start that they have in years past, and they're able to move the ball consistently, I think this Minnesota offense is going to have a tough time keeping up. This Minnesota team is going to have a tough time keeping up. And if you race to an early lead and you force them to throw, you have an opportunity to kind of sit on a nice early lead. If you allow them to establish the run, that's when you get into some trouble.
Go ahead.
Well, we talked about yesterday. I think we talked about the station, not completely stationary, but stationary target that is Minnesota's quarterback in Drake Lindsey, and how Nebraska has faced pretty athletic quarterbacks from week one all the way until last week. What is going to be the difference that you're expecting to see with the defense from John Butler, what he cooks up to get after Drake Lindsey and this Minnesota team that, like you were saying, it's not like a typical PJ Fleck team that likes to run the ball. They haven't been very good at it this year. That is looking to pass the ball more often than not, and a quarterback who's not really going to get out of the pocket and gash you for any big runs like Bryce Underwood or Malik Washington did.
Yeah, I'm super curious to see how Nebraska, I think, matches up in the back end first, just to see how much Butler trusts his DBs against these receivers. On paper, I think there should be some trust, but I also think I would understand having a healthy respect for this wide receiver unit and understanding that they may not have played their best football just yet. But at the same time, I'm curious to see if Butler just kind of allows his guys to just live on islands and trust those guys to play and then dial stuff up front, or that he looks at what Deshaun McCullough has done over the last 2 weeks, and specifically what Williams and Neri's done the last 2 weeks, and says, okay, well, let's see if we can get home with 4. I think I'd like to see more of that from Nebraska down the stretch of the season. But I think Friday is a good opportunity to see, okay, can Nebraska get home with 4 or 5? Are they able to kind of just silence things up in the back, or kind of eliminate open windows in the back end, potentially get home with 4 and just make life tough for him. I'm expecting a lot of, I think Butler's done a good job of confusing young quarterbacks. I think Malik Washington was just, again, like I spoke glowingly of Malik Washington going into that game, and watching that back was like, I still think the world of Malik Washington after that game against Nebraska. He played phenomenally. And but he's not a traditional freshman quarterback. I think you look at Lindsey, and I think you can mix him up a little bit. I think I think Butler's going to have opportunities to bait him into some poor throws just with this guy's pre-snap looks and what he's going to be able to do up front too. Nebraska's going to have an opportunity, I think, to tee off too. I don't think they have to worry about containing. I don't think they have to worry about certain things that they have in weeks past that. I think it's going to allow this pass rush to try and get home without a fear of like, okay, well, I need to make sure I'm not losing, lane responsibility.
Tim, I have to go back to something you said just a second ago when we were talking about recruiting because it just got the wheels turning. You said that you've seen staffs when they are leaving, they act a certain way and they operate a certain way. What does that look like in your experience when a staff is leaving, just independent of Nebraska? I'm just curious. What does that look like when a staff is leaving? Like, how do they start to act differently?
I mean, it varies, obviously varies just based on communication. But like, again, and only saying that just because like, you see staffs where it's like, okay, well, the writing's on the wall that I think of Jimbo Fisher, like by the end of that, it was like the writing was on the wall. Like you could just see, it was like, oh, well, they're not really offering, like they're not really doing their due diligence to address the needs in this cycle. They kind of know that they're pretty much out of here. Like, you just weren't seeing a sense of urgency on the trail that you're seeing out of Nebraska, right? Like, again, Nebraska saw this happen or saw James Franklin get fired, and the first operation or first odd wasn't like, okay, everyone's scrambling trying to figure out what Rhule's doing. It was, well, okay, we're in eval mode. Let's figure out who we can get from this recruiting class. And then they went and they offered and they started to extend offers and they started to line up visits and moved really quickly. Like Jasir Rogers, the four-star wide receiver, number one prospect out of Delaware. Ranked 4-3 at Penn State's camp last year. Broad jumped 11 foot, I believe, and it's just like ridiculously explosive. But that was a Penn State guy all the way. As soon as Nebraska got that opportunity, a bunch of schools offered. Nebraska and Alabama are the only two schools that are able to that have gotten official visits on the books for this guy. Like, so there is a sense of urgency in the sense that they're not just getting these guys offers and getting a communication with them. They're setting travel up. They're planning these guys to get on campus in a couple of weeks. And again, I said it on Twitter. How does it make sense for Matt Rhule and his staff to fly in a bunch of kids from the Northeast to a bigger city with a program with the best facilities in the country to then tell them in 2 months to go to a smaller city with worse facilities that is essentially going to be like, you're again recommitting to a staff, and after getting to know this program and getting to see all these people in this different place and understanding that you're not going to be playing, like it just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Like anyone that thinks that all of these offers was Rhule setting himself up for the next, like, it's just silly. And he's tried, I think, as the best he can to maintain leverage while also just like calming things down, because there is like a contingent of people within the fan base and just nationally too that like are just dead set on he's gone. I don't think you should be dead set one way or the other at this point, but I think he's done what he can to kind of calm those people down and keep recruiting on track. Because the worst thing for the staff right now is they don't want this affecting that November 1st recruiting weekend. They're planning on that USC weekend being the biggest recruiting weekend of the year. They don't want rumors of Rhule potentially leaving or any of that like affecting what they can do to finish out this 26 class and set themselves up for a top 5 27 class.
Can you imagine inviting somebody into your house, showing them all your cool stuff, and then saying, I'm actually moving across town, but I just thought
just thought you should see this. Yeah, exactly. Like it's like, hey, it's like, and that place doesn't have all of this.
Yeah. Like, this is cool, right? We don't have that over there, but I'm going to go over there. So, this is cool, but this is not for you.
Right.
Tim, sorry, this is kind of going on in the chat, so I think it's an interesting question. In a perfect world, what is with Dylan and TJ and Trae, and let's throw Dayton in there as well. Like, what in your mind, if Rhule and Dana Holgorsen have their perfect transition plan, what does that look like from quarterback to quarterback to quarterback?
I think hypothetically the perfect plan is, or the ideal plan of this is next year is it's 3 years and out for Dylan because he's played so well. And then he's off to the draft. And then from there, it's a battle between TJ and it would be freshman year Trae Taylor. I think just that year, that and Trae understands too. I think Trae recognizes that he's going to have to potentially sit for a year or two. But he's not going to duck away from the competition, just like TJ didn't duck away from the competition when he enrolled. But I think it would be something like that, where it's like year 1, year 2, it's like, okay, it's TJ that sets things up. But I think there's down the line, and again, this is hypothetically projecting. They could both prove me wrong in different ways. I think there is a world where I can see down the line, after both of them have a year plus in a college strength and conditioning program under the staff, in the playbook, all of that, where Trae does overall just jump Latif in a talent level and what he can do within the offense. Is that necessarily, again, this is all purely speculation. Does that necessarily mean Nebraska is going to give Trae the job? I don't know. But ideally, it's one more year of Dylan, and then it's TJ for 2 to 3 years, and then it's Trae. Because and Trae recognizes too that I think he's going to, wherever he goes, there's going to be a year of sitting more than likely. I think he's open to that year of sitting. He did it at this high school too. Like he's open to it. He's cool with it. And I think he's a guy that's willing to learn it and wants to give, a staff a chance to develop him and kind of get those snaps in practice and build up to the point to start. So I think the best thing I can say is that everyone, all three, including Dayton as well, or 4. So all 4 of these guys have an idea of where they stand and what this looks like, and understand that, okay, yeah, like there isn't an expectation of them needing to be ready year 1, and they're all okay with that.
Because, I think about this a lot with like high-level quarterbacks, right? You want them to want to start. You also want them to understand that they shouldn't start, right? Like there has to be some kind of balance of like, yes, starting a true freshman quarterback, usually bad, right? Like it almost never goes as well as you would want it to.
Right. Yeah, like what you exactly, and what you want is a room where everyone knows their role too. Because like I again, it was from a competitor, but credit to him, just forgetting the story. Brett Greenberg over at Alabama 247 talked to Keelan Russell's mom after Keelan Russell lost the starting quarterback job to Ty Simpson this summer, and Keelan's mom said Keelan came home and just kind of just half-heartedly said, "Hey, Ty won the job." Like, and it was just kind of like a thing of like, "Hey, if Ty didn't win it, I would have had issues. Like, I would have had questions about what our staff is seeing out there because Ty was clearly the guy, But like that's important. Like like Alabama right now, everyone knows their role. Ty Simpson knows he's a starter. Austin Mack knows his role as a developmental guy that is just kind of the veteran that is learning the playbook and the backup if they need to. And Keelan recognizes that, okay, hey, I'm the future of this program. I need to keep developing. But there's no incentive and there's no real reason for me to need to be ready in year 1. And honestly, I think for some of those guys, it's a bit of pressure off their back knowing they don't have to be ready year 1. Like there was a point where I think Keelan thought he had to be ready year 1, And I think maybe there was a world where, when Trae at one point or another committed, was like, oh, maybe I will have to be ready. And then getting to see what TJ did, getting to see kind of be around TJ this summer a little bit and around the QB room, I think recognized, okay, well, I don't need to be ready year 1.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese, inside Nebraska. Tim, appreciate the time as always. How do you think the game goes tonight?
Yeah, I think Nebraska wins. I have them winning and covering. I there's a world where I could see this. I said this to somebody this week. There's a world where I could see this going like Wisconsin did last year. Not in the sense that I don't think it's going to be that same like score or anything, but I think it's just like Nebraska like is clearly just ahead of this other program. Like it just clearly shows 2 different levels to the program, specifically in this year. That's not to say anything about, I don't think PJ is about to do what just happened, get out of the hot seat like Luke Fickell is. Like I do think they've got a really good recruiting class coming up. They've got some really young talent that I think is coming together. And I think Drake Lindsey's just getting started. But this year specifically, I just think Nebraska is the better overall team and has better top end talent where they have an opportunity to kind of put this game away.
That's Tim Verghese inside Nebraska. Tim, we appreciate it as always. Enjoy the game tonight.
Yes, sir. Appreciate you guys. Have a good weekend.
That's our guy, Tim Verghese from inside Nebraska. We'll be right back. But first, got to tell you about our friends at Dingman's Collision Center. Make sure you go check them out if you've got anything you need for auto body repair. Winter's coming up. You got to keep them in mind. Sometimes those cars start sliding around a little bit. Maybe somebody clips you in a parking lot and
that'd be crazy.
Doesn't leave a phone number or anything like that. Like you just never know what's going to happen. No matter what happens to you, though, Dingman's has you covered. Go to dingmans.com to check out all of their greatest and latest technology and their ongoing training that they put their team through. So every repair is done safely and to the highest standard. It's dingmans.com.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely not necessarily easy, but I think in practice, that's when it starts, is like regardless of what my role may look like at practice, like embracing that and doing that to the best of my abilities. And I think that that transfers over into the matches, and it's not necessarily like harder to do it in matches if that's what I'm doing every day in practice. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I talked to Jordan Larson about this the other day, but you have a lot more respect for people that come off the bench and play well because it's not an easy role to have at all. But I would say just like it makes you a more mature player. You have a lot more maturity for like when you do get your opportunities, like really embracing them and going out there and like playing with no regrets. And I feel like that's something that I've really tried to focus on, is regardless of when I go in, it's like, am I going to walk out whether I play well or whether I don't, like being regretful? And I think like I haven't been recently, so that's something I'm really proud of. But yeah.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Today, the Minnesota Golden Gophers are in town to take on the Nebraska Cornhuskers.
One ready to go? All right. Ding, ding.
Ozigbo on second down, got the edge. And Ozigbo into the clear. Divide Ozigbo with a divine touchdown run. There's Ozigbo on first down. Divide Ozigbo breaking free. Can he beat Jacob Huff to the corner, to the end zone, his second touchdown. Second and goal. Damn! Martinez swings it for Spielman at 6. Martinez hit as he throws, but he's got Morgan wide open. Stanley Morgan got lost, and Stanley Morgan's got 6. There's Washington leading to the end zone, touchdown Nebraska, the cherry on top.
But it ain't about how hard you hit. It's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward. How much you can take and keep moving forward.
Across midfield, it's Hunter to the 40, far left sideline 20, 15, 10, and is he in? He is! Touchdown Huskers! Viola looking to the end zone, still rolls to the numbers at the 10. Slings one back right corner. Was it caught? It's Lindenmeyer. He makes the catch.
That's how winning is done.
Viola out of the gun. Snap. Turn. Play fake. Zips one left. Leaping one-handed catch. Tumbling in the end zone. Dave Key. Touchdown Huskers! Oh, that was a cold-blooded drive.
There's one thing I want you to do for me.
What?
Come here.
What?
Win. Win.
What are we waiting for? Take it!
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Don't forget, in a couple weeks here, you can join us for our only live show of the season. It'll be Halloween, October 31st, right here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill. Doors open at 6:30. You can join us for an all-you-can-eat breakfast buffet at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill here in La Vista. We'll have drinks as well. Whatever kind of drinks you want. Like maybe take the day off, maybe make a weekend of it. Big USC game the next day.
I mean,
maybe. Make sure you come check us out. Go to Eventbrite and search Hurrdat Sports Live to RSVP. It's no cost to RSVP. The breakfast buffet, all you can eat, is $15, and it'll be a great time.
Austin wants to know if he can.
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe. Austin wants to know if he can have the day off.
He can have the day off after we're done here. So he has to work during the show, but then if it's okay with Sasha, he can have the rest of the day off.
Can me and Austin sit right there?
I don't care. Sit wherever you want.
And just eat the whole time?
I mean, as long as you're working still.
I didn't say that.
Well, I need you to work.
Me and Austin will talk about it.
I need you guys to do your jobs.
Me and Austin will talk about it.
I don't care what happens in addition to the job doing. We'll talk about it. But I need you to do your jobs.
The producers will talk about it.
All right,
I'll talk to Shane too.
All right,
Shane, you want the day off too?
Don't bring me into this. I already get yelled at enough.
You know, if you take the day off, Sasha's going to have to do it, and then she'll be real mad at you.
Sasha's going to take the day off too.
No, she's not.
We're going to hang out.
We're
going to sit right there.
Sasha never
needs the day off.
She needs to take a day off.
Sasha, she's going to be here super early, and I'm going to look at her and be like, you just go sit and eat, drink, and be merry.
Yeah.
Don't worry about anything else. We got it. Just chill. Don't talk to anybody. Just be unless you want to.
And when she does take days off, she goes and stays at like haunted houses, and I'm like, that can't be relaxing. What are we
She's
doing?
Like, I'm gonna relax and go stay with this demon.
18 people were murdered here. Let's go sleep there.
She said only 18. That's weak.
Weak.
I've been to a place with 75. I don't know why Sasha talks like that.
I don't either. She does not talk like that. It's okay, though. We talk like it's time for Bet On It, though, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook, the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets. Download the Warhorse app, build your bets in the app, then go place them on location at either casino in Lincoln or in Omaha. They just renovated both of them. They look great. Make sure you use Warhorse. There are, I think, some really interesting games this weekend, Rico.
Ooh, okay.
I think. So I pulled these lines last night.
So they should be.
I mean, this was at like 10:30, so
Okay.
they should be reasonably accurate still.
They better be.
First one up. I want to start in the Big Ten. This is not, I like to stick with mostly ranked games, but I thought this one was intriguing.
Okay.
We've got Washington as a 5.5-point dog at Michigan. I think Washington is pretty good.
Okay.
As much as I hate to give DB credit for calling that one before the season.
Shout out to Damon Williams Jr.
Damon Williams is very good. I want Michigan to win because that makes Nebraska look better. We've been rooting for Michigan and Cincinnati a lot this year.
I've said things like that, and people are like, why do you root for the other two? Because it makes the win or the loss look better.
Yes,
like,
100%. I want Cincinnati to win out.
Like, if Cincinnati wins the Big 12, then you look back at the first game of the season and be like, hey, I mean, Nebraska beat the Big 12 champions.
Like, here, remember, let me put this in terms that Nebraska fans in recent history can appreciate. Remember how bad it felt when Nebraska was Northwestern's only win that year? The opposite of that is being the only team to beat Cincinnati this year. That would be awesome.
That would be nice.
Right? So, like, imagine how bad you felt about that year, 2022, and then just flip it. And that's how good you'll feel if Cincinnati goes undefeated.
Imagine Cincinnati
Just
makes
flip
the playoff, and then you're just like, we beat the playoff.
Hey, but what happened to that? What happened to that L, huh?
Nebraska beat the playoff.
What happened to that L, Cincy?
And then somebody would be like, well, if it wasn't for one bad throw.
Where'd you get that L, Cincy?
Down in Arrowhead.
He made it at night. They made that L at night.
Didn't make it during the day, I tell you.
They
that
did
much.
not. Malcolm Hartzog made that thing at night.
Yeah, he did.
So I want Michigan to win. I want Cincinnati to win, but I feel like I'm leaning Washington here.
I am going to agree with you.
Yeah.
Because the Huskies have looked really good, and Michigan since
the USC game kind of made me mad with Michigan. I'm going to be honest with you.
Since their head coach has come back, since Biff has not been leading the charge.
Weirdly enough.
They have not looked good.
The elephant in the room is Biff a better head coach for this team than Sharon
Biff
Moore?
needs to take the role. I think Sharon needs to take a step back, and Biff needs to take the role. The way that Bryce Underwood is playing
100%.
with Sharon Moore
versus
as
Biff.
the head coach,
it's wild.
It's not great.
It's wild.
It does not look the same. He does not look comfortable in the pocket.
Yeah.
Biff had him out there slinging the rock and running all over, and he looked like the 5-star that everybody said he was
looked
supposed
better.
to look like. So
he looked better.
If Sharon Moore, I mean, he's obviously still there, but if Sharon Moore is still there, making the calls, I'm taking Washington. Even though it's on the road, you got to travel halfway across the country and play in the big house.
Yeah.
I'm taking Washington.
Like last week was a game prime set up for Michigan to play Michigan football and beat USC because Illinois did that exact same thing, and Michigan's more talented than Illinois, and they blew it.
And Sharon Moore was like, what would be really cool? If we had our
Let's lose.
quarterback throw the ball.
Let's lose. I've got Washington here. LSU, this is the weirdest feeling one to me. LSU is a 2.5-point dog at Vandy. LSU being an underdog to Vanderbilt feels so unnatural to me.
Vanderbilt hasn't beaten LSU the last 10 times they've faced them, and I think I saw on the screen it was sometime in the mid to late 90s was the last time Vanderbilt beat LSU.
Sure, I'm surprised it's not longer, honestly.
Well, they've only played 10 times since then, which is very weird.
I'm surprised. I'm a little surprised Vanderbilt's ever beaten LSU, like just ever in history.
Vanderbilt never was good, I don't think. I don't know if they were ever good before.
They had a spicy Jay Cutler run. That's about it.
Jay Cutler does that for you.
Jay Cutler?
Jay Cutler. Why are you saying it like that? I love my boy Diego Pavia.
Yeah.
But I also really like LSU. I got family that lives in Louisiana. This is a weird one. This is really weird because you're going to Vanderbilt, but as Nick Saban said, Vanderbilt's not a tough place to play. I think I'm going to take LSU in this one. I think LSU upsets since they're not favored.
Not favored, but they are higher ranked, and it's LSU
I
versus
think LSU
Vandy.
upsets Vanderbilt.
I've got Vanderbilt. I think LSU is fraudulent. I think Brian Kelly is fired this year.
I want that to happen.
I've got Vanderbilt. That's my call. Ole Miss 7.5-point dog at Georgia. I don't know what to do with this one. I think both of these teams have not looked very good. I'm surprised the line is this big. So I'm going to pull a DB here.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to say it's big for a reason, that Vegas is trying to tell me something, and I'm taking Georgia.
I think Trinidad Chamblis has looked fantastic.
Trinidad
Chamblis. But I don't think that this magical run can continue for Ole Miss and Trinidad, and they're going to go into Sanford Stadium in Athens.
You're getting some like Linsanity vibes here, where like
it's over.
You're about to turn into a pumpkin.
Yeah, it's over.
You think so?
Yeah, he's had his game winners. He's had his his points over Kobe. It's over now.
All right.
I'm sorry, Trinidad.
I don't think it's over for Trinidad. I do think Georgia's going to win this one and cover the spread. Tennessee 7.5-point dogs at Alabama. Alabama.
Give me the Vols.
Really?
Yeah.
I'm going same thing. I think big for a reason. I'm going Bama.
I just think that Bama, after that opening loss to Florida State, has turned it on, and they've been really good. But they lost to Florida State for a reason. Like they're not the old Alabama. They're gonna lose one more time, and I think it's this Tennessee one.
I don't know, man. That Ty Simpson can spin it.
He really can.
I like Ty Simpson.
Really can.
USC 9.5-point dog to Notre Dame.
Now this is a
weird one.
This is a weird one. This is a rivalry. This is they're playing for a trophy. I don't remember.
Are they? Do they have a trophy?
I do believe they do. I don't know.
Trophy. Bring up the trophy.
No. Okay.
Well, give your trophy. I'll do it.
They play for a trophy.
They play for a trophy.
They play for that trophy. Probably.
Trophy game.
That is a trophy that they.
This
play
is the Cool Whip trophy.
Is it a shillelagh or is that them in Illinois? Notre Dame in Illinois.
I have no idea.
I don't know. But USC has been impressive. They took down Michigan, even though Michigan didn't play Michigan football in California. Now they go out to Notre Dame and play a team that may be distracted by some Marcus Freeman potentially to Penn State news. There might be some distraction. Maybe. There might be some distractions there for Notre Dame and the Fighting Irish. I know the number's kind of big. USC's look really good. Jaden Mayava looks really good.
It is the shillelagh. It's the jeweled shillelagh.
There you go. See, I know things. Trojans. Trojan man.
I'm going
Jaden Mayava.
I'm going USC here also. I don't think Notre Dame's distracted because I don't think there's any way Marcus Freeman goes to Penn State. That would be wild to me.
There's a way.
If
there's a will, there's a way.
I don't know, maybe. But I think USC wins here. I was really impressed with their win over Michigan. I thought they were I thought that said a lot about them, especially after the way they lost to Illinois. I like USC here, and that number feels way too big. Utah, 3.5-point favorite against BYU. The Holy War.
I do love me some Utah. I don't know if you know this about me. When they were doing all the conference realignment, I thought Utah would be a perfect fit in the Big Ten.
They feel like a Big Ten team.
I love Utah.
The way Kyle Whittingham gets those lines going, they feel like a Big Ten team.
Love me some Utah. BYU is dealing with a quarterback who wears number like 45
47, I believe.
Whatever. I hate it.
Yeah.
I cannot stand it.
Yeah.
That's why I'm picking Utah. That's the only reason I'm picking Utah. I cannot stand their quarterback's number. BYU has to lose.
See, I like both of these teams because I'm a big Kalani Sitake guy as well over at BYU. Mm-hmm. But I do think Utah is really good. That Texas Tech result notwithstanding, I'm taking Utah and the 3.5 points. Here's one of my favorite things.
Texas Tech seems to just be doing that to everyone.
Yeah,
so.
I know. I'm just kind of tossing. It's kind of my Indiana
like
it's my Indiana of the Big 12. I'm like, well, I'm just gonna toss that one out because
Yeah.
it doesn't mean anything.
Like, you lost to that team, but like everybody's losing.
Yeah,
to that
everybody's
team.
just getting their head beat in, so we're just gonna throw that one away and see
I
what
want to
happens.
see Texas Tech and Indiana play.
Let's do it. Let's playoffs.
How many points? God, they both play pretty good defense too, but how many points? Is it going to be like that, like 25 overtime game?
54.5 would be my
73-72.
That's probably high. This is one of my favorite things here. We've got a home unranked favorite against a ranked team. Duke is a 1.5 point favorite against Georgia Tech. This is my flashing red light. Utah was in this spot last week, and they got it done against Arizona State. I'm taking Duke minus the 1.5 as the home unranked favorite against a ranked team in Georgia Tech. Vegas is telling you something here. Take the Dukies.
You know what Vegas is telling you? That there's some distractions at Duke because their head coach might go to Penn State.
Manny Diaz.
Former defensive coordinator at Penn State. He knows Happy Valley a little bit. Maybe
How did he do the last time he had a really big job?
Irrelevant.
Okay.
Haynes King
His Miami stand
is
went
running.
really well?
We're not talking about Miami.
Oh, my bad.
Haynes King is running all over everyone, and
Okay.
I do not think it stops when he goes to Durham, North Carolina.
Darian Mensah is killing people too.
He is.
I'm just
but
saying.
he ain't Haynes King.
No, I think he's better than Haynes King.
He ain't Haynes King.
He's not. He's
Give
not
me
Haynes King.
Georgia Tech. I'm gonna say they win big. You know what? I'm gonna lock that one in. That's a lock.
All right, that's
Georgia
fine.
Tech's beating Duke.
I don't think locks mean
It doesn't, but
we
I'm
don't
locking
really
that
do
one.
a lock
I'm
thing
locking
here.
that one.
That's
in.
fine.
I'm letting you know that.
That's fine. You're fine to lose. I wouldn't put money on that one. That one should.
I don't put money on any of
that one
That's
should just
fine.
be hypothetical because
That's a lot of Monopoly money. I'm dropping that.
I'm trying to keep you from getting in trouble with the wife there.
The Yellow Jackets.
Nebraska, a 7.5 point favorite against Minnesota. This one has bounced a little bit all over the place. Nebraska opened 4.5, 5.5. Certain books you could get all the way up to 9.5 at one point. I think it was pretty commonly at 8.5, and we have settled in. It appears at 7.5. I'm refreshing right now just to make sure.
Settled.
I do still have it at 7.5 with just a tiny, tiny bit of juice. So Nebraska, 7.5 point favorite at Minnesota tonight. Rico, what do you got?
Look, man, Nebraska has been crushing it lately. The scores may not be reflecting of that, but Nebraska, especially against Maryland, was kind of in control for the most part the entire game outside of those 3 interceptions from Dylan Raiola. If not for those 3 interceptions, that's a double-digit win pretty handily for Nebraska.
Yeah, Dylan, don't do that this week, please.
Minnesota has been struggling to tackle. Nebraska's leading the conference in yards after catch. Isaiah Hunter is amazing once the ball touches his hands. I'm going to say he gets another one of those screen passes and takes a yard. Nebraska's going to win big in this one.
I agree. I think this is a multi-touchdown win. I think this is like a 17-ish point game, maybe 21. I think I predicted earlier this week 34-13.
Mm-hmm.
I think somewhere in that range makes a lot of sense, and that would put me pretty close to my over-under 47.5, which is just a slide under. I think somewhere in that 34-13 range is the win here for Nebraska. Minnesota has a really hard time stopping the run. EJ is on his revenge tour with the Gophers.
Just play football.
Like, I think Emmett Johnson goes north of 150.
Ooh.
I think Nebraska wins 34.
Does he actually get a touchdown this time, though?
Oh, yeah, 2 tutties.
Okay.
I got 2 touchdowns for Emmett, north of 150. They win 34-13. They are putting to bed the demons of the all-white uniforms. They're putting to bed the demons of losing to Minnesota, of losing at Minnesota, of Hoodie Gate and COVID Gate, and all the things that have haunted the sloganeering gate and everything else, the culture versus talent gate, all of it. They're putting it to bed. They're putting belt to ass, and they are going to beat Minnesota handily tonight. Give me Nebraska. If I could find an alternate line that was even higher and gave me some plus money, I'd do that.
To the moon.
To the moon. Nebraska takes care of business.
This sounds like a program-changing win tonight.
That's what I was about to say. I think this is going to be a show-out game for Nebraska. This is a game where the players are like, look, people keep linking our coach to this other job. We're going to show him why he's not leaving here because of what we're about to do up in Minnesota to these Golden Gophers. They're going to show out for all the recruits. They're going to show out for the nation and be like, this is why Rhule is staying, because we can do things like this.
We've got, I think, a big win for Nebraska this week. If we're locking stuff in, let's lock that one in. Lock of the century. Lock it in like you do your seatbelt. Make it click. That is Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook, the best place in Nebraska to place your sports bets. Download the app, build your bets, and make your bets in person at the casinos, either in Lincoln or Omaha. It's Bet On It, brought to you by Warhorse Sportsbook. Rico and I will be back right after this on Hurrdat Sports Live.
I think her approach to practice has gotten so good in the last couple of months. It's just like every day she's really consistent. And I think she's becoming a leader in her own way, even though she's not starting, which I don't know if early on she would have thought she could do that. But I think she's becoming a really good leader and somebody our team really looks to, and especially in times of stress. And then I just think her overall play has improved a ton. So I think she's putting more pace on the ball on her attacks, and then her blocking has improved quite a bit.
Neighborhood, just down the street. With a wide variety of home equity products to help you create a relaxing oasis. So you can kick back and relax in comfort. Centris Federal Credit Union. We are where you are.
Yeah, all the time. My sister mainly played in Cliff Keene, and the basketball team was in Chrysler, but a few of their big games that they played in Chrysler, I was always there. So I'm really excited to go back there, and I get to see a lot of my friends. A lot of my friends go to school there, and a lot of my family's from there. So I'm really excited to go home and just spend some time with them and be home. We're actually going to go to dinner at my house Saturday night, so I'm really excited to bring everyone back. Yeah, we have season tickets to basically all the sports there. So me and my mom were at basketball games a lot, and my brother played basketball in college, so that was always something me and him did together. We went to those games. So Chrysler is a great place, and I love all the facilities that they have there. It's super homey for me, and it's fun to go around there and just see everything. And I hope my teammates can get a little taste of what I grew up with, and it's just really exciting.
All right, who is your favorite Husker volleyball player of all time?
I like Sarah Pavin.
Nice, okay.
I like Jordan Larson.
The governor, one of my favorites, absolutely.
I think Lauren Stivrins is mine.
Lauren Stivrins, okay. Not okay, a little bit more recent, great player, yeah.
That's who I was going to say.
You stole it. Any others?
I mean, Jordan Larson.
Jordan, the governor. Who doesn't love the governor? She's the GOAT. Oh, she is really the GOAT.
I like Nicklin Hames.
Nice, that's a really good one. Nicklin Hames, a lot of fire on that one.
Welcome to Hurrdat Sports Live.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live, presented by Centris Federal Credit Union. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, and we're going to talk to Mike Sauter here in just a few minutes, and then we will wrap up the show with DB and Kyle Crooks. But before we get there, I got to remind you, sometimes you need to talk to experts. And when talking to experts is most important is with your finances. You know, it doesn't matter sometimes if you're talking to an expert when you're talking about college football or things like that, but you shouldn't get deceived either by idiots like Paul Feinbaum. But
I am an expert.
You need to listen to an expert when it comes to your finances, and you certainly shouldn't be misled in that area. That's why Centris Federal Credit Union has partnered with Green Path Financial Wellness to help you reach your financial goals and give you financial guidance, whether it's debt counseling or you just want to make sure you're on the right track. They've got you covered. Become a Centris member today and learn more about their partnership with Green Path at centrisfcu.org, federally insured by NCUA. Speaking of Paul Feinbaum, guys, don't listen to him. Just don't listen to him. It's like Paul Feinbaum doesn't have information. Paul Feinbaum is a rage baiter. Right?
He knows
that's what he does. He knows that Nebraska fans are passionate. He also knows that he's not really that popular right now. People don't like him that much. And that his SEC is a Ponzi scheme, so he can't really get any of those people fired up. He is rage baiting Nebraska. Stop it. Listen to Coach Rhule. Listen to people here that know what they're talking about. Paul Feinbaum doesn't know what he's talking about. The last person on earth to know would be Paul Feinbaum. Do we not remember, was it last year when Coach Rhule's weighing in about the college football playoff and Feinbaum's like, hey, you're at Nebraska, bud. Stay in your lane.
Stay in your lane.
Like, you think Paul Feinbaum's going to be the one that knows?
I don't think anybody in Rhule's camp or anybody around Rhule is feeding Feinbaum anything.
No, there's not. And he doesn't have sources anyway. That's not what he does. He rage baits. This is not a guy that reports.
He's an SEC honk.
Yes.
He's not. He doesn't have any insight into the Big Ten.
Absolutely none. Absolutely none. He doesn't know anything about the Big Ten. He certainly doesn't know anything about Matt Rhule. And even when he does talk about the things that he is quote unquote knowledgeable on, and I use that term incredibly loosely, he still doesn't have sources.
He's a big Alabama guy.
He's not reporting anything. This is just him talking. It's just him talking. I mean, I'll use
into the void
the DB line from a couple days ago. You think Paul Feinbaum knows more than anybody here? Because he doesn't. He doesn't. Like, don't get worked up over Feinbaum. Watch him if you want to hate watch him, whatever. Don't get worked up over Paul Feinbaum. The guy doesn't know what he's talking about. He has no real information
whatsoever.
Even about the SEC, he really doesn't. Like, that guy is total moron.
I like listening to him just say silly things because I'm like, that's not true.
I don't. It makes me angry, and I don't like to listen to him. Because then I'm like, dang it, it's working. He's doing the thing.
Dang it, you got me.
I got to turn it off and be like, no, sir, we're not going to do that.
Damn you,
Feinbaum. The same way I do with the good old Stephen A. Stephen A. Smith. No, Ken, the Broken Chair Trophy is with Minnesota, and currently, Nebraska is leading. Last I saw, 17,000 to 12,000. There's some change in there. If you want to be a part of this, go to brokenchairtrophy.com. It is a battle between Team Jack Foundation, our great friends here at Hurrdat in Nebraska. We love the Team Jack Foundation, and a battle with Team 41, another great foundation who deserves all the money that they're going to get from this, but it needs to be just a little bit less than Team Jack. Just a little bit less.
Like they need a lot of money, but also like
just
not
like a
more than
tiny bit less.
Yeah.
That would be
that's it.
That would be ideal. That way Team 41 gets a big check, Team Jack gets a big check, but Nebraska still wins, and then Nebraska goes out and beats Minnesota tonight. Go to brokenchairtrophy.com if you want to donate, you want to be a part of any of the fundraising activities that they've got going on. It's a great cause and a great trophy. And
18,067 for Team Jack, 12,107 for Minnesota.
Yeah, we got it. So we expanded the lead a little bit there. Yeah, head lead, that'd be great. Like $5 less. We want them to lose by just a tiny bit.
Just like $5.
Get like a bunch of money, but just like $5 less than Team Jack.
I'll
Foundation.
throw $5 right at the end.
Yeah, it'd be like, and Team Jack wins.
There we go.
And Team Jack wins. That would be terrific. Great job though, guys. I know I tweeted out earlier this week that we wanted Team Jack to get over the finish line there. So really appreciate all the donations. And it does, in all seriousness, it does go to great cause for both organizations. Obviously, we're very familiar with Team Jack here and love everything they do. So let's get to our guest here, Mike Sauter, Hurrdat Sports, NEB Prep. Sauter, how we doing?
I'm good. I'm scrambling here a little late this morning.
You doing all right?
I'm all right. I'm all right.
All right.
Is it because of your foot?
What happened to your foot?
You just had to go right in, didn't you, Rico?
It's because of your foot.
What happened to your foot?
Well, I was at state softball.
Okay.
And little accident. Maybe no, it wasn't really an accident. I was just a little beleaguered, right? Like I was standing on top of scaffolding, which they have out there, so you can take photos and stuff of like a game without the fence, and kind of you're out of the way, so you're up top.
Sure.
And somehow a foul ball from 200 feet away ish from the other field went over the fence, missed the big light pole, missed the like scaffolding bars, like the cross, and direct shot on my left foot.
Not ideal. Not ideal.
You seem very hurt right now.
Thanks, Pam. I am. So
softball's notably not very soft.
No, it I mean, when it hit it's kind of the top of my foot next to my ankle, and luckily I can walk. I didn't break it, but it does look like I have a second ankle on the top of my foot. So
that's not great.
That's not supposed to be there.
No, yeah. So, it's fine. Millard North, a softball school, notably.
Yeah, always have been, always will be.
Yeah, they're in the final. They don't have to play. They didn't lose. So they made it to Monday in the final and play Southwest in the Class A state championship game. And the last time they played was an extra innings game in Lincoln I was at. So should be a pretty good game Monday night for the state softball championship. Both teams have been kind of 1 and 2 all year too. So to be expected.
Clearly number one, Millard North. I just want to make that.
They've been number one basically the whole year.
Clearly.
Can you explain to me why they play why they play softball in Hastings, then move the championships to like Lincoln and Omaha?
There's no other place to have it. There's no other facility big enough to have all 3 classes and all the games in one place. There just isn't a facility that can have the big enough dugouts, big enough like a press box area thing. Like there isn't. Now they could do something similar to what they do for baseball and move and kind of have multi-sites like at different high schools and stuff. They do that for baseball. So, but it's been in Hastings for a while, and it actually it's the biggest spot to have everything, because they do have 8 fields, which allows teams to get warm-up time so they can just roll right into the next games with a little bit of a 10-minute warm-up. So that is I think that's the biggest reason why there isn't another place that has the stand seating capacity where you don't have to like bring a lawn chair. Okay. So that and really the press box structure. A lot of people don't realize how important that is for like, tournament operations and things. So that's partly why. So until someone builds something or adds stuff to the current or the new or places that have been built, that's probably going to stay in Hastings for a little bit. So the singular game, like winner take all game things, for softball moving to Omaha the last 2 years, and then now it'll be in Lincoln at Bullen Stadium on Monday, it's a great idea. It's a great thing, and they did that so they could get it on Nebraska Public Media, because before the last years softball hasn't been, because it was a state championship game was like, okay, maybe you'll play at 3:30 or 4 or 5 on a Friday, just depending on when the other games get done. And then you have all 3 state championships going on at the same time, which I didn't like, but moving it to a singular game, everybody has really been in favor of that. And the crowds are a lot bigger too. So, and it's important for the NSA to sell tickets, because that's how they make their money. So,
are we getting ready for a Miller North tailgate on Monday, or how do we want to do that, Mike?
Well, your boy, me, I am generally a very good planner, right?
Uh-oh, what happened?
Yeah.
What happened?
It was about 4 months ago. My wife was like, hey, these 3 dates, I'm going to go on a 3-day trip with my mom. So that's Monday through Wednesday next week. So I got to finally be a dad once. So
you're taking the girls to state softball?
I will be probably just watching.
Okay.
So
okay.
Yeah. From
there's a playground at Bullen.
Yeah, I'll probably. So the problem is I don't want to I'll be there for the Class C game at noon. I don't want to go pick them up from school and then drive back to Lincoln.
Yeah.
I could. But then that means we're not getting home till late. They're 6 and 9. So school the next day.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's on me, but we will have it covered big time. So NEB preps stuff, we will have multiple.
I won't be covering it because I can't stay impartial, but everybody else has it covered.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Mike, what do we got for high school football this weekend?
Oh, you want some math?
Yes, I love solder math.
Okay.
I'm terrible at numbers, so this is great.
I've got
very helpful.
It's mostly just counting. It's not a lot.
I'm bad at it.
I've got all 3 games. Can't see that. So let's just start with Creighton Prep Westside, because that's the biggest game, right?
Yeah, let's do it.
Very important.
So this number is 9 for Westside. This number is 0. Westside is 9-0 in the last 9 matchups against Westside. Okay. Now, that number is 356 for Westside. That number is 81. Westside has outscored Prep 356 to 81 in the last 9 matchups.
That's a lot.
That's a big number.
That's a lot.
But I will tell you that this Prep defense is fantastic. They are super disciplined and playing great. They have Prep 28 and a half sacks this year and 43 hurries.
That's good.
Wow.
They also have 10 interceptions and 5 fumble recoveries in 7 games.
Okay.
Very good.
Yes.
Westside has 5 sacks and 9 interceptions and 6 fumble recoveries.
Wait, so they've only got 9 sacks on defense this year?
Yes.
That's less than I would have thought.
Right. Well, according to, the statistics that they should be putting in max preps, that's what it says.
According to the numbers that they put in.
Yeah. So, to me, this game comes down to who can run the ball, because both teams have great backs. I love Angelo Walker. He's a two-way guy. Obviously, Tate Jenkins is a great guy, a great player, already over 1,000 yards. And, he's had a phenomenal week last week against Elkhorn South. Maybe a takeaway is going to probably be the difference. Unless it kind of gets away from prep early, like Elkhorn South last week, because Elkhorn South is a run the ball, control the clock team. And that just, you can't get behind by, 2 or 3 touchdowns like Elkhorn South did last week against Westside. So prep's going to have to control the ball, I think, and keep Westside off the field. And frankly, the formula for them to win, in my opinion, is to do what they did against Central. Line up in that rhino with 8 offensive linemen on the field and just pound it at them, because that's how Central beat Westside, was just ball control the ball, was very disciplined and very patient. So I do think this game could be pretty good. Just looking at the numbers and kind of watching both teams. I've seen them both in the last 2 weeks. So Prep, I won't say owes Westside something here, but they're definitely needing a win against Westside. And I would also tell you, Braylon Warren has been very efficient. He's like 60-some% passing, 65, I think, roughly. And then last week he was great. So keeping the Westside run game down a little bit, and now Bryson Williams, two-way guy for Westside. Maurice Purify had a great game last week, 5 catches, had a touchdown, 63 yards.
Big juke move.
How does that match up? Like Vinny Saul can only cover one of those guys, right? Vinny Saul is a nice, long, lean back that's athletic. So it'll be Prep up front is big and physical and strong. Jake Brock is a great player, I think, for them. So I do think it'll be a good game. I think there'll be a lot of people there. So if you're going to that game, you might want to get there early, unless you want to park at, I don't know, Exarban and walk, because parking there is a little rough. So
not ideal.
Not ideal. So that's that game. You want to move on to the next game?
Yeah. What do we got next? What else do we have?
Okay. So Scott Bennington.
Here we go. Class B.
Okay.
Scott Bennington. Big rivalry. They played 5 times in the last 2 years. So Scott, 14.5. That number. Bennington, 4.5. That is punt return average yards.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
10. Yeah. And then field goals. Both teams don't kick very many. Scott is 2 of 5. Bennington is 0 of 2. So for that one, I think special teams probably is what it comes down to. That's why I pulled those numbers. So both teams have good players. Scott obviously took that loss. Well, both teams have 1 loss, and it's week 1 losses to the number 1 and 2 teams, Waverly and Norris, which I'll get to that in a minute. I got a couple numbers for that. But I do. I mean, there's no love lost, I guess, in the Scott Bennington rivalry. There's a lot of mutual respect, though, too, I think, from the coaching staffs. So great players on both sides. It's a matter of who can kind of maybe make a big play on special teams. That's kind of what I'm thinking. And I will tell you, Bennington moved to a freshman kicker, Jake Crawford. So that could be a thing, right? Like in a big moment, can the freshman kicker make a kick? So that's a pretty big ball game there.
Okay, so talk to me about Waverly Norris, and then I've got a question about Class B for you.
Okay, Waverly Norris. It's 37.7 and 41. Norris is averaging 37.7 points a game. Waverly's averaging 41. Do I think either team gets to 37 or 41 points? No. I think Waverly's defense is pretty good. And I think Norris's offense has been fantastic. Both have great backs. In Nelson for Norris, and then Waverly has Nathan Axman, who's really kind of at the first game of the year, he had like 35 carries, but he's kind of trimmed that down the last couple of weeks because, competition level they're playing. So he's fully ready to go. And Broxton Tepley, a quarterback transferred from Lincoln Southwest, he's kind of found a rhythm for Waverly a little bit in the passing game. And I will tell you, for those that are going to that game, Gavin McMillan is a stud. Like he's a great player for Waverly. He was initially going to play corner, and then they moved him to safety, and he's an in the box guy. He makes plays all over the field. He's great. It wouldn't surprise me actually if they use him to spy a little bit on Evan Greenfield, the quarterback for Norris. And Evan Greenfield's a name we kind of know if you follow high school sports. He moved to quarterback this year for Norris, and they've just been humming. He's a very great decision maker on the basketball court, which translates really well to quarterback, and can really run, use his legs. And I think this one is, again, could be a really good game. Big rivalry. Conference opponents and foes. I will tell you, I went to the Norris Waverly volleyball game. I think that was 4 weeks ago now. And everyone that I talked to was already talking about, like week 8 football. Like they were just talking about the game because they both kind of thought they would be undefeated at this point. And it's a big game. I've been to some Norris Waverly games in the past. One was probably the most cold I've ever been in a playoff game at Waverly, and Waverly just smacked them that night. So it's one of those things where toughness is going to win that game. And who's the tougher team, I think, is going to come out on top in that one.
Okay, so let me ask you here. We've got, after last night's Gretna East win over Elkhorn North, right? You've got Gretna East, Elkhorn North, Bennington, Scott, Waverly, Norris. Am I missing anyone that needs to be included in that conversation?
That's the top. And then
got some good teams like out west with Shadron and Scottsbluff.
Seward is one of those that's very scary. Seward's pretty scary team. They beat Scottsbluff. That's Scottsbluff's lone loss. So Seward's pretty dangerous. Jack Vanalik is a great receiver and athlete for them. So if you wanted to pick a team that was going to win the state championship today, you would be pulling it out, drawing straws, pulling out of a hat. No idea.
So don't give me a state champion. Give me the top classes, those first 6. That's like was that where you would draw the line between like, hey, if I had to bet on these teams versus the field?
Yeah, I'd say those are the 6 that you're probably going to see one of those.
How big is the gap between that 6 and then the next group?
Not real far.
Okay.
Yeah.
If Scottsbluff or Seward or somebody like were to upset one of those top 6 teams, you're not losing sleep over that.
Wouldn't be shocking. No.
So how important is the seeding going to be in Class B? Like where teams are going to have to end up traveling to?
Well, I think they're going to all end up having to kind of play each other anyway, right? So semis, someone's going to get a quarterfinal game against a really good team. It looks like Scottsbluff maybe will get one home game first round. So traveling out there, not really think that's a thing. McCook is also just a one-loss team. Lost to Sydney, who's a good C1 team. Scottsbluff goes to McCook tonight.
Yeah.
That's it's a big game, especially in McCook. I've said this for years. McCook's one of the toughest places to play, specifically in a big game where both teams are good. So that place would be rocking pretty hard in McCook tonight. So traveling out there a few years ago, if you remember Tyson Gordon's year at Scott, they had to go to McCook for a semifinal game.
Oh.
And they were the number 1 seed and had to go to McCook. Here's your reward for being the number 1 seed. Go to McCook for a semifinal, and they won, and it was like double overtime or something. So tough place to play when McCook's good. Now they changed that where the 1 seed just is like the higher seed hosts in A class A and B.
It used to like alternate though, right?
It was like if you had a home game the week before, you had to go on the road the week next week, whatever. I'm so glad they changed that.
Super dumb.
Yeah, I thought that was like you're punishing a team for having a good season, basically. So, yeah. So they changed that, but yeah, B, like Gretna East, that was a huge win for them. By the way, kind of one of those like we're here. We're in this thing. We belong, like it's kind of one of those wins last night for them. So it kind of feels like that over the top, get them over the hump sort of program win, right? Last night. So, but I mean, both teams are.
Any concerns about Elkhorn North with 2 straight losses now?
No, because like there's.
I mean, I get it's to Scott and it's kind of Gretna East, but still.
Yeah, they put a lot on Ethan Beachy, their quarterback, to get it done. They got to figure out some run game there. They losing Tingle off last year at running back really is kind of, I think against these better teams, it's kind of hurt them a little bit. So they gotta figure out a little bit of the offensive side. Love their linebacker core, but they can only do so much, right? So Jace Reynolds and Barry Freeze are great. And great athletes. So I don't, yes, like they've lost 2, but it's not, they're still in the picture. I would say.
Anything else we're missing tonight that we need to be, where are you going to be tonight? Waverly North?
Prep Westside is my,
that's right. Prep Westside.
Yeah. This is my game of the week. So I will be there. Westside back-to-back weeks, the game of the week. So there's a lot of votes on that thing this week.
What the people chose.
That's what happens when a team's good.
And Prep Westside, obviously, like huge rivalry game. It frankly, like that Prep Westside, it might be pretty boring.
It's nice that Prep is good again, though.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what do you mean?
I mean, like Prep has not been like the Prep Westside rivalry was kind of built in the '80s when both teams were really, really good.
I mean, you did say they've won 9 straight versus.
Yeah, like Prep has not been what we. If you grew up in Nebraska during a certain time period, what you think of Creighton Prep football.
Right.
It's nice that they are kind of sort of back on the upswing. We talked about this class. I mean, we talked with Tim Yonk last week. We talked about this kind of class of like now juniors and seniors a couple years ago. Like this was a kind of the class they've been waiting for to mature into being a competitive football team.
Yeah, that's okay. Like I get it. Last year they were 4-5, had lost to Fremont, and that was like, whoa, I haven't lost to Fremont in forever. So and this year it is nice to see them. I will say this about Prep. It feels like they're more connected. Like just there isn't like the Angelo Walker's their star, if you will. But like it's not like, oh man, like we just have to give that guy the ball every time. And like Marty Brown was awesome for Prep. Like he was great at Prep. But they just hammered him and he pounded him and they had a great offensive line to go with him. And that was the year they lost in the semifinals at Gretna against that good Gretna team. So they're a little more balanced, I think, as far as there isn't just like oh my gosh, they got this one great player, right?
Yeah.
That being said, Angelo Walker's still pretty good. But it does feel like they're just more balanced. And I will say, like, I said it to a couple of people after they beat Central 2 weeks ago, their defense is very disciplined. Like they really aren't out of sync. Like they're really, really good. Like they've been great. So it's could be a defensive game, and it could be like if I'm Prep, I'm keeping the ball out of Braylon Warren and Tate Jenkins' hands. Like I'm trying to just control the clock and get 3.5 yards every carry and just run the ball. And that's what they've done all year. They haven't thrown it as much, but Lammers at quarterback for Prep's done a nice job of just controlling things for them. So pretty intriguing matchup. And again, if Westside gets some big shot plays, could be a little thing where like it gets out of hand. So
yeah, I thought last week with the Elkhorn South, the kind of the bad snap on the punt back towards their own end zone, like that really flipped, I thought, the dynamics of the game, because it was like the 1 yard line for Westside then, and they all of a sudden they're down 2 scores, and that thing felt like it got on top of them in a hurry.
Yeah, and that's something obviously, tonight for Prep, they got to be mindful of that. And they haven't really turned the ball over this year that much. So, but they've created a lot. That's the question.
So in Class A, do you have a sleeper pick, and why is it Omaha North?
So North, I would say last night what North did, I was at the Bellevue West North game, and Darian Jones didn't play in the second half because he rolled his ankle at the end of the first half. And they just kind of didn't, they could have played him, but then they were like, okay, we're good. I mean, he was killing. Like they were like throwing YOLO balls and he catch them.
That one hurt.
North lost their 2 best defensive linemen to season-ending injuries a couple weeks ago, and still fighting through this. Like and Cannon at back is great. My Rico sleeper team at the beginning of the year before the season started was Papio South. So
they've been pretty good.
That was my sleeper pick.
I do remember that now that you say it.
Yeah. So they lost their starting running back in Derek Jones, and haven't missed a beat. So Papio South could be a little bit dangerous. So when it gets, playoff time here. And how about this? I got to give credit to a couple of people I know, got to get out of here too. But Tim Williams was at Papillion La Vista, right, as the head coach, and did a nice job there. And they won their first playoff game in forever and all that stuff. And then he gets let go at Papio High. He goes to Prep. Okay. Kirk Peterson, longtime Millard West coach. He resigns or whatever happened there. He's at Papio South. What's happened to both those teams? They've been pretty good this year.
Been pretty good.
Yeah. And both those guys, I think, have helped. If you ask their head coaches have helped tremendously because they're both great football coaches. Like XO guys, they're great. I've said that about Coach Peterson forever. Like he's a great high school football coach. So I think there's something in common there. And I think a lot of people aren't really talking about that as much publicly, that those two guys have really kind of helped out a ton with their, respective schools this year.
There you go. That's Mike Sauter, Hurrdat Sports NAB Preps. Enjoy the Prep Westside rivalry tonight.
Yeah, I'm gonna. There's a lot going on tonight. Nebraska, and then Creighton. Your Creighton Blue Jays play, Ravi.
College football, volleyball, high school football, basketball exhibitions.
A lot going on.
Everything.
Ravi, who's starting at point guard for Creighton tonight?
I
Graves?
think it's what's that?
Graves.
Probably, maybe. I think it's more interesting who ends up at point guard. I think Fedor is basically going to end up being your de facto point guard.
Yeah, see, I think it's going to be Dix.
I think, some combination of Fedor and Dix, I think, is probably kind of
At the end of the day, I think they just lean on that.
Yeah, primary ball handlers. I think you're just going to put your best guys out there and somebody will figure it out.
Yeah, hey, real quick, Nebraska basketball tomorrow, noon.
BYU.
Against AJ Devance.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Future NBA lottery pick.
Yeah, maybe number 2 or 3 for me, because I am a massive Darren Peterson fan at KU. That guy is. Someday I'll tell you the story about what Phil Martelli told me about that kid and Kobe.
Ooh,
that's a good tease. We'll
can't wait for that story.
We'll keep that one in the old holster there. Mike, we appreciate it. Have a good weekend.
Yeah, Mike.
We'll be back with DB and Kyle Crooks. Woo-hoo. We got double trouble the entire broadcast team, at least the play-by-play and the analyst will be joining us coming up next. Jess was here earlier this week.
Yeah.
We do need to talk to Ben again. We haven't talked to Ben in a while.
It's been too long.
We need to talk to Ben again. We'll do that, but we'll talk to DB and Kyle Crook coming up next here on Hurrdat Sports Live.
Thank you. Yeah, it's definitely not necessarily easy, but I think in practice, that's when it starts, is like regardless of what my role may look like at practice, like embracing that and doing that to the best of my abilities. And I think that transfers over into the matches, and it's not necessarily like harder to do it in matches if that's what I'm doing every day in practice. But yeah, it's kind of funny. I talked to Jordan Larson about this the other day, but you have a lot more respect for people that come off the bench and play well because it's not an easy role to have at all. But I would say just like it makes you a more mature player. You have a lot more maturity for like when you do get your opportunities, like really embracing them and going out there and like playing with no regrets. And I feel like that's something that I've really tried to focus on, is regardless of when I go in, it's like, am I going to walk out whether I play well or whether I don't, like being regretful? And I think like I haven't been recently, so that's something I'm really proud of. But yeah.
You're listening to Hurrdat Sports Live.
So that's the two-time national champ, Damon Benning, with his very small binoculars. Jessica Cooney down on the sidelines. I'm Kyle Crooks. Snap to Raiola, back to pass. Looks left, surveys, under pressure, rolls right, flips one right side of the end zone. Caught! Dane Key crossing the back line of the end zone. Gets a foot in for a Husker touchdown. Key unlocks 6. 46-0 here in the third.
And super easy math. Number 6, 4-6. Give me all of them.
Yeah, that's easy. This comes from Eckley to the near side. Takes an extra hop. Easy Sunday hop for Dane Key at the 49. Steps out of bounds. Graded by Mike Eckler. Husker ball. The 2-minute timeout.
I knew you were a music aficionado. The Commodores. Easy.
Yes.
Like Sunday morning.
Easy like Sunday morning.
There we go.
Welcome back, Hurrdat Sports Live. That's Rico. I'm Ravi here at Hurrdat Sports Bar and Grill, presented by Central Federal Credit Union. We are joined now by the dynamic duo, Kyle Crooks and 1DB. What's going on, fellas?
Wow. I forgot until last night that Damon had played that intro for us that I was singing on the radio. Unfortunate for everybody involved. And no, but we had a great dinner last night. I'm sure we'll get into all this.
Where'd you go?
JD Hoyt's. So
Okay.
this was a place that was Greg's favorite place here in Minnesota. Damon set up the reservation. Shout out to Damon. He got the lift ready to go on time. He got the reservation for us ready to go. Ben had the same server that he had the last time he was here, and she remembered him, and it was a weird interaction between those two. But I'll tell you what, Damon swung and missed the last time, at least for his meal last week at Chef Tony's. I'm sure he talked about that on the show. But Damon, he'll be talking about that dinner he had last night for years to come.
It was Casey. I feel like I just saw you, man. I recognize your surroundings too. We must be in the same place.
We are.
Dinner was fantastic. I felt bad for Kyle because, Ravi, Rico, I told you he won the award for the best meal last week. This week, I felt like Ben may have let him astray a little bit. We got this thick cut pork chop. It looks spectacular, but it was even a little much for me too. My meal was incredible. Although I will say this, Casey, lobster risotto 1, DB 0.
Oh, that sounds incredible.
Oh man, it was incredible going in. I'm about 7 pounds down going out. That was about 315 to 440 this morning, so we're good. It was well worth it.
That's good to know. That's fantastic.
Well, I asked Ben because you kind of just picked at it. I asked Ben if it got him, and he said it wasn't that bad, but there was a mini homicide about 6:30 for him, so we're good.
DB, speaking of seafood, so I get a call yesterday while I'm at lunch with Rico and Kenny.
Oh, geez.
I get dude, it's so much worse for me than it is for you.
It's weird.
Like, so I get a phone call from DB, and he's like, "Hey, man," and like I've sort of gotten used to these phone calls, so I'm just like, "All right, it is what it is." He goes, "Hey, I've got somebody delivering about 30 pounds of seafood, and Jay's not going to be there for about 3 more hours. Any chance you can go to my house and just put it in the freezer for me?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm right down the street. Not a big deal. Like, I got you." So Rico's with me, and so we roll up to DB's house, and there's a package on the front step, and so we grab the package, we put it in the freezer.
Well, hold on. We look at the package, and I look at him and I said, "This is seafood?" And he goes, "That's what DB said." I go, "You said it's on dry ice?" He goes, "That's what DB said." I go, "I don't think so."
But like trying to be a good friend, I grabbed the package, I put it in the freezer, we closed the door, and we're like, "All right, I guess we're gonna go."
We're sitting in the car, and I'm just like, I don't think that was it. I got to look for it. This guy must have hit it somewhere. That wasn't it.
Like, we got back in the car, and we're like, that didn't seem like seafood. And so we get out of the car, we're looking around. Is there any other packages? I go around back. I go into your backyard. So I'm like, maybe put it around back so it didn't get.
You got a nice backyard.
Hey, you like that yard? Is it not immaculate?
That's a nice yard.
And there was a cooler back there, so I'm looking. I go, okay, maybe there's we got a cooler situation. It wasn't it. There was just ice and drinks in there, and I was like, all right, I guess DB stays ready. Cool. But
I get kicked out a ton.
So we go back into the freezer, and I pull the package out. I was like, all right, I feel bad, but I'm going to open it to make sure it's the fish, right?
I didn't open it. He opened it.
I did open it. And I told DB right away. I was like, hey, man, I opened. It's we had put headphones in the freezer, yep. Kyle. We had put somebody had ordered headphones from Amazon, and we had just put that thing in the freezer, no questions asked. And then it didn't occur to us till later. It was like, that wasn't 30 pounds of anything.
I was like, I'm not as strong as I used to be, but that was really light.
He's like, it wasn't even cold. And I was like, I don't know, maybe that's how dry ice works.
Yeah, they don't put headphones in dry ice, DB, anymore. They do that, I think, right?
I don't know. When you're fixing mine, is that about how they feel?
Oh my goodness.
And so I call him, I go, hey, DB, it was an Amazon package. There's no fish here, man. And he's like, oh, I just thought they delivered something. So he calls me like an hour later. We get the fish in the freezer. But you were very, very close to having warm fish on your porch and cold headphones in your freezer.
That's how it works. Kyle, I told him this before we get ready to preview Minnesota about the hotspot incident. Because, as everybody's kind of getting used to Kyle's voice and they love the delivery. He got me last week when I thought my hotspot should work, right? I'm like, Kyle, well, go ahead, Kyle. You can tell the story better than I did. I know you just gave me the subtle head shake, and you're like, I can't believe the state hangs on this dude's every word. He's not very smart. I know you were thinking that.
Well, it was one of those moments where DB's fumbling through Wi-Fi and whatever. This is it's an occurrence every time we get on a plane or anywhere. It's the Wi-Fi. There's always some sort of issue with Damon's Wi-Fi, right? So he's got his hotspot, and so we have the in-plane Wi-Fi that we use as well, because when you get 30,000 feet, that's the only thing that's going to work. So I mentioned to him that, like, hey, this isn't working. Do you want to get on the plane Wi-Fi? And he's like, shouldn't this work? And I'm like, no. It's like astronauts don't have Wi-Fi through AT&T. We have to use. That's why everybody has to slum it and go on the plane Wi-Fi. So we had that conversation. It's all good. Look, we all have our moments. I have my moments, and I don't think anything different of Damon. I still think Damon is a genius. He's a man with many. He knows about so many different things. I asked him yesterday, as he talks baseball, hockey, this, that, and the other. I said, when do you have time for all this stuff? So he's a man that has a lot of knowledge of a lot of different things. It's just he was a little crossed up on what spots really do.
Technology isn't one of those.
Yeah,
that's a blind spot.
Not really. I wouldn't say that's his forte. I will say I figured out how he watches everything, Kyle. It's because I'm sure, as you've noticed, he doesn't sleep. So that frees up a lot of time for him to watch Pac-12 rowing, as we found out, is a hobby of his. So
Kyle is well aware that my YouTube library is built to be watched after Zoe goes to bed. He got a full understanding of that last night.
But he's watching full series of Netflix stuff along with all the sports stuff.
I don't know how he does that. I don't.
I'm like, how are you doing? How much time is in a day for you, DB? And I guess he just doesn't sleep.
26 hours.
I have 3 days in my one day. I'm winning.
Let's get to Nebraska and Minnesota. Obviously, you guys traveled up there with the team. How are you feeling about the temperament of where this team's at right now?
Yeah, I think it's business as usual, although it's hard to feel that's the case with everything with Coach Rhule and everything that's come out this week about Penn State and all those things. But it seems like after what Coach Rhule said yesterday on McAfee, it seems like maybe we can put some of those things to rest. And, I think what was telling yesterday about what he said, he said, the way I communicate with my team, and I'm sure Damon knows this through Caleb and just knowing Coach Rhule, is that he's very forthcoming and he's very truthful about what the situation is. So I'm sure that he's had conversations with the team about, hey, this is what this situation is, and this is what the situation is going to be, and we're focused on Minnesota, and let's get after it. And you look at it, just doing the research on it, and this being my first year and sort of parachuting in, this has been a house of horrors, man. Not just for the broadcast back in 2023 when nothing worked, as I found out, but just overall. I mean, this has been a tough program to beat, and if you're going to knock them off, this is the year to do it. Look, it's interesting in the year of NIL and rev share, how many young quarterbacks that are in the Big Ten that we're talking about. So this is what, DB, this is 3 games. And I guess if you want to throw Childs in that mix, but, 4 games in the Big Ten play, you've played 3 young quarterbacks, right, guys? So it's just interesting the way that you look at it. And Drake Lindsey is somebody who, he has a big, massive arm. He wasn't highly recruited coming out, but he's vulnerable to make mistakes. And it's interesting to look at this Minnesota team. They do not run the ball effectively. Classic PJ Fleck teams. I'm sure you guys have talked about it all week. I'm looking at the Big Ten numbers. They average 44 yards a game on the ground in Big Ten play. And they have a really good running back in Darius Taylor. Granted, he's been injured and in and out of the lineup, and he was back last week. He had 14 carries, just 32 yards. He was under 2.5 per carry last week. They've completely, it seems like, abandoned the run. With that, they've had a lot of issues up front. Both lines of scrimmage. I think this is a game, guys. DB, maybe you have a different opinion, where they could really win this game in the trenches. Offensive line, they have struggles. Minnesota defensive line, they have issues stopping the run. I mean, Purdue was able to run the ball on them. You saw the discrepancy in the numbers in the box score last week. So they should be able to get after the quarterback tonight, Nebraska. They should be able to run the ball effectively in Emmett Johnson's homecoming. And if Dylan doesn't turn the ball over and you're not -3 in the turnover margin, you should be in a good spot in this game.
Yeah, I agree. I think the trenches is kind of the key. If you guys, if there was a unit I'm probably paying attention to, it's probably Nebraska's defensive line. I think they could make some hay with the kind of the guard center combo that Minnesota is rolling out there. And if they want to establish any sort of dominance and see if Coach Butler is really a prophet, right? When he said earlier this week, I think they're going to run it at us. I mean, why wouldn't you? I'd try. So I think the D-line is the group to watch. And then the other one is along those lines, you got to get Lindsey to the ground when you get bodies around him. Get him down to the ground. The other thing is Nebraska's got to win in the secondary against Minnesota's wide receivers. I think this game for me is all about Nebraska defensively versus Minnesota's offense than it is Nebraska's offense versus Minnesota's defense. I think Nebraska's offense is going to kind of be what it is. They're figuring out a little bit of that run game. They've gotten into some power run game now. I said Monday that I think Nebraska gets a punt return, so I think they can win special teams. This one tonight for me is Nebraska's defense against Minnesota's offense.
So as we look at that, I'm glad you brought up the wide receiver core for Minnesota there, because that's a place where I'm not sure I've been super impressed with their ability to get separation. I do think Drake Lindsey's got some talent, but I don't know how open his receivers are getting either. Is that one where you think that Nebraska might just say, hey, let's kind of scrap some of that zone stuff that we were running last week? We've got more of a stationary quarterback that we don't maybe have to keep an eye on the same way we have Childs and Washington and Underwood and Sorsby, and we can kind of just let our guys run with the receivers and just trust them to cover in man.
What do you think, AC? I mean, you've got a good feel for seeing those guys this week. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think this is one of those games that they're going to be a little bit more aggressive in being in man and getting after Drake Lindsey. I think I'll be interested to see DB, like you said, what Butler does, the amount of numbers that he throws at the quarterback in a game like this. I look at it, the depth of his attempts, right? So Lindsey hasn't been a big play, throw the ball downfield guy. So he's about 5.8 yards attempt. That's the second shortest in the Big Ten. So that tells me, okay, there's a lot of intermediate routes. And I think Darius Taylor, the running back last week, he had 11 targets coming out of the backfield. So they're going to utilize the flats in that intermediate game. So that's going to force some guys to come up and have to make some tackles. But I think this week, and Butler, like you said, mentioned it, we have to play. I think we played a little bit too much zone, as he said, against Maryland. So I think the lesson of let's trust those guys out on an island. Sierra Wright, Andrew Marshall, Donovan Jones, they've all had great seasons so far. I think that's going to be the case, and I think we might see more numbers sent towards the quarterback this week and a little bit more aggressive of a defensive game plan.
You guys can hear why, and Suave, you guys, Ravi, you know my personality, right? Like, you can tell Casey's a football guy, and there are these little things that we'll talk about off air, with what Maryland was doing. And I was explaining, I said, hey, that little crossing route, that little delayed shallow drag, that's always going to be there if Maryland's patient enough. Nebraska's playing zone. And we're kind of walking through, breaks on why what's happening is happening. And so the breakdown, as you can tell, Kyle's just ill prepared, right? 5.8 yards per pass. It's going to play some part.
I sound like a nerd, but
listen. It is. There's wheelhouse, and then there's getting the chance to work with you. So I like it, and I actually think, the running back targets out of the passing game to Minnesota and Nebraska rallying to tackle is a quiet, super important part to this game, because they will listen. Feme, I think it's pronounced Schleboy. Is that right, KC? You're like the
boy.
Yeah, it's not my boy, it's your boy.
I thought it was like, he's your boy.
He's your boy.
Listen, those backs out in space are hard to get to the ground. 7 breaks a ton of tackles. So, KC mentioned the 11 targets to Taylor last week. Getting those running backs to the ground in space as part of that little edge run game that Minnesota uses them, I actually think that may be the game within the game, and how Nebraska rallies to that. Will they play more dime? Will they play more base? They got to get those backs to the ground in space on those little swing routes.
And this is the first time, too, I hate to jump in, that I think the defense doesn't necessarily have to worry too much about the design quarterback run game this week. I don't think we thought we'd see that from Malik Washington, and then lo and behold, they had they had plays ready for him to go in terms of design quarterback run game. That's been a massive struggle at times for Nebraska defensively, along with the outside zone run game, which is Minnesota's kind of bread and butter when they can get the run game going. But that's something that I don't think's in the back of the mind of Nebraska this week is having to worry about Drake Lindsey in that designed quarterback run game.
So you brought something up there, DB, when you're talking about Nebraska rallying to the ball and getting those guys to the ground. And I'm wondering what you guys have seen, because it seems like that's been really hit and miss for Nebraska this year in terms of when they're getting a lot of hats around the football. Sometimes they do an okay job with it. Sometimes it feels like they're left in a lot of one-on-one situations. How can Nebraska get more consistent with getting more hats around the football so that, hey, if a guy does miss a tackle, he's got his buddies right there to clean it up for him?
Well, I think KC brought up the first real tangible coaching point. Without the threat of the run game from the quarterback spot, you don't really get a free safety, because Nebraska doesn't play with like a free. But you do get another pair of eyes that can rally and run. You can also do it on the second level too, because you in essence don't really have to use a spy. So the short answer to that is, without the threat of the quarterback run game and a guy getting loose on you in the pocket, it frees you up on the second and third level to go hunt. So if you can man up outside the numbers, then your second and third level, your +1 guys defensively get a chance to go run and hit. So I think without having, and we'll see. I mean, Casey, how long did it take? Second play, third play in College Park, where I said, oh, so much for the design quarterback run game. Like, it was actually 2 design quarterback runs. So, Minnesota has a dry erase board and a marker too. So maybe they'll adjust with Lindsey. I just don't see that happening. But without right now the threat of the quarterback run game, Nebraska will be able to rally and run a little bit better.
We saw some bad angles last week, right, DB? Especially from the secondary, and that's got to be better. A lot of that, I mean, how much of that gets cleaned up during the season? How much of that is just a quick conversation? Look, you have to just take better angles and form tackling and all those things. All the fundamentals come into play. I remember talking to Terry Braden a couple weeks ago, and he mentioned the word fundamentals probably 100 times. So sometimes it just comes down to that and better angles. But we saw some bad routes to some tackles last week.
Yeah.
We're talking about Nebraska's defense and Minnesota's offense, but I want to kind of flip the script in Nebraska's offense versus Minnesota's defense. A Minnesota defense that has missed a ton of tackles this year, and a Nebraska offense that, if they break a tackle, when they break a tackle, they're going a long ways, leading the Big Ten in yards after the catch for the wide receivers. But I want to focus mostly on Dillon, kind of recovering-ish from the Maryland game, those 3 interceptions. How do you guys see him kind of calming himself down, especially with all the drama surrounding Rhule? And he seemed pretty confident when he was up at the presser talking about Rhule and talking about himself. But how do you see him kind of bouncing back from that one and kind of keeping himself calm, but also, getting the blood in the eyes?
I think DB and guys, we saw that in game last week, right? He throws the 3 picks, throws the pick 6, puts him down in the second half. And, I saw this stat. This is the first time since 2022 last week that they won after trailing going into the fourth quarter, which is pretty crazy of a stat. So that's the first time in the Rhule era that they've won trailing going into the final quarter. But I think we saw it, those 2 80-yard drives. I mean, that tells me everything you need to know about Dillon as a quarterback, as a person. The fact that, look, he could be incredibly frustrated, and at times we've seen him at the sideline. I think the Michigan State game, when things were not going the way he wanted, I mean, he was, even Coach Rhule mentioned in his press conference, he was barking back at the fans who were booing, and I think we saw the evolution the next week of learning from his mistakes, of the frustration on the sideline. When you're a leader, you can't physically show some of that body language that maybe you could at other positions. But the way that he was able to man the offense, he had some really great throws. I'm thinking of the throw to Luke Lindenmeyer. Well, that was a great catch. It was a tremendous catch. It was a great throw rolling out. Even the touchdown to Dane Key, the game deciding touchdown. He put it in a place where only Dane can make the one-handed catch. But a couple holding penalties on one of the scoring drives in the fourth quarter, and you're playing behind the sticks. And he's able to keep this offense moving forward and hit Dane Key down the field a couple times, and he's had a rapport with these receivers. And the throw on the marquee, right, guys, is him falling down over his own feet and still finding a way to lob the ball down the left sideline and find Isaiah Hunter. So it seems like for a true sophomore, and this goes back to him having so much playing time a year ago as a freshman, but he has a next play mentality. At least that's been birthed here after, at least during that Maryland game and what we saw in that fourth quarter. So incredibly impressed by him. And this is a Minnesota defense that's really opportunistic. They have 10 takeaways this year. They have, I think, 6 interceptions, 3 defensive touchdowns. If you put the ball out there, just like Maryland, they're going to catch it and they're going to take it the other way. So they're going to make things happen. And you have a good pass rusher in Anthony Smith too. So they might be on his heels. So he just got to, take what's there. And, I like what I saw from him in that fourth quarter last week.
Yeah, Casey can expound on this, but I think because this is something like the fan base can't really see, and obviously, and Nebraska's learned how to travel, and their business approach and efficiency in which we move and get things done. We're not even we're barely off the plane yesterday, and we're getting messages about, the rooms and keys and what's next for the guys. And we're thinking, well, are they in communication with the hotel in the air? Is it it's
a hotspot? They got a hotspot. They're using a tech.
Damn that whole satellite thing, Casey. I wish you would do your delivery. You're like, well, there's this thing called satellites, but anyway, Nebraska's business-like approach in terms of how they're doing this. I've seen this in the Coach Rhule era. It is so much better. You guys remember 2 years ago when he said, we don't even know how to travel yet. Mm-hmm. But this year he says, hey, we're pretty good at traveling, right? Just the little tweaks and efficiencies to really make this a business trip. Kyle, we're setting up last week at College Park, and we saw him out in the parking lot at the hotel, and then at the field, and then the actual walkthrough. Like the amount of time they spend with each other and moving as one, I think is critical in terms of telling the tale how they're now playing together as a unit and not wavering through these 4 quarters.
DB, I just keep sitting here and I can't get over the idea of Emmett Johnson having $180 almost last week, going back home, and then the holes that I saw Devin Mockabee running through last week for Purdue. I can't get it out of my head that this is just going to be an enormous Emmett Johnson game. It seems too simple, but I can't get past it.
Who was your pick to click, Casey?
It was Emmett.
Yeah. So I was going to add, so I will defer to you because I thought it was. You feel like you've been around him a ton. He can handle the emotions of coming back home because it's not always easy to channel that. But you picked him early, and like our group text, it would have been easy to go with a receiver. Why did you pick him?
Well, I just think, like you said, going back to Purdue last week and seeing what Emmett is coming off of and the emotion of it, this could go in either way. This is an overwhelming thing, family and friends in the stadium. I think they're doing a walkthrough at his high school today as well. So there's the emotion and nostalgia of that. I just think this is a game that if Dana's looking at it and he scripts those plays, I think it's going to be a heavy dosage, at least in that. We're going to see in that first series how Dana scripts this thing out. I think it's going to be a heavy dosage of Emmett Johnson. And if I'm looking, if history is a predictor of what we're going to see in the future, the way that Purdue ran down their throats, there's no reason that Nebraska doesn't come into this game. And this isn't a heavy load here for Emmett Johnson, where there's every once in a while we see an Isaiah Mosier or Mekhi Nelson. But this is going to be one of those 30-plus, I think, touch games in the pass game and in the run game for Emmett Johnson. I don't see it any other way.
We saw how they treated Ramir last year at the bowl game too, guys, right? Where don't think that the staff isn't aware of what's happening. And I don't know what the little scuttlebutt was on social media where we got tagged, where one of the former Minnesota guys was like, grow up, about practicing at the high school. But I don't know if you feel this, Kyle, but just quietly, man, just the back and forth between the whole Minnesota-Nebraska landscape. I think Nebraska is super dialed, and they come across as pretty edgy. I don't know how you would compare this trip to Maryland because it is so efficient, but they seem to be lot less action and traction in the lobby. I noticed you came and went in a hurry last night, so good on you. But they seem to be a little more dialed being back here in Minneapolis.
Yes, this is the House of Horrors. I think that's how I'm going to label it on the air tonight. This is another one of those, I don't know, checklist games. Now you have a number in front of your name again, which we know for in recent memory for Nebraska. Once they get ranked, things don't go well. You got off to
You're wearing whites.
You're wearing the all whites, right? You're off to a 5-1 start. You're at this spot last year. You lost 4 in a row. You've lost 5 in a row to Minnesota. This would tell me a lot. Now, Minnesota is what they are on paper, but they play well against Nebraska. These are all the things that year 3 Matt Rhule. Can we turn the page? Can we turn the momentum? Well, here are more things. You're ranked. You're 5-1. You have expectation. Friday night, nation's watching. This has more of an opportunity. If you put your foot on the gas pedal tonight, guys, and you blow out Minnesota in front of a national audience, I think the narrative maybe changes a little bit more when people say, oh, Nebraska's a little bit more for real than we thought. Because AP voters, they're not watching every single Nebraska game. They just look at Nebraska, they see the logo, and they say, oh, that's just Nebraska. You know, they'll get off to a good start, and they'll just choke it away. Well, this is an opportunity in front of a national audience with an opportunity to move up in the AP poll to really put your foot on the pedal. We'll see.
Isn't it crazy, you guys, how we talk about the checklist, and we mentioned Dylan getting over the hump, and Nebraska's on the road in the House of Horrors, as Kyle said, in the Fighting Whites. Like, you think Coach Rhule doesn't embrace this tomfoolery that we've kind of built in our, like,
I like how
he's running into the burning building again, saying, don't worry, guys, we got this.
I like how he just like snuck it in there on Monday. Everybody's asking about Penn State and everything. It's like, oh yeah, by the way, we're in all white against Minnesota.
I'm actually going to wear white tonight, guys. Casey, don't make fun of me. You know, I'm afraid to wear it out in public, but I think I'm going to go with white tonight too. So we got a lot of boxes we can check off.
Kyle, I tried to tell him, and I'm going to make you uncomfortable, I'm sure here. I tried to tell him, when you have skin tone like me, Rico, and DB, the white looks great.
Oh, look! No, Pretty Boy knows exactly what you're talking about. Like, ask the waitress what she said to him last night. Casey has no problems with the whole.
Well, she said all 3 of us have a face for TV.
Oh, that's nice of you.
Yeah. Well, she was working the tip. We gave her a nice tip last night. So, outstanding service. JD Hoyt's the owner came over, by the way. Yeah. And it was great. And we had a few Nebraska fans who bought us a round of drinks, too. Of course, they knew Damon. They watched this show. I think that was the big reason.
Yeah, the guy was in Minnesota. He's like, I watch you guys, listen to you guys every day. And I was like, oh, that's cool. Team Reposado.
And here I am with my water with lemon.
I don't want to make you feel bad over that, too, Kyle. I did feel bad.
It's not like a no alcohol thing either. It's just I like to a night before a game. I like to keep the voice. It's just water, lemon, maybe some Propel, some Gatorade. Nothing more than that.
Well, when you have less than a $30 alcohol bill, we probably were pretty responsible. But most of that is because Kyle has 17 waters. He's good.
Either that or somebody took very good care of you.
I wish. Not the case. You know, I have expensive taste.
All right, so we're as we'll let you guys go here. How do you feel, DB, Casey? I don't need a score prediction or anything. How are you feeling about the game tonight?
Oh, I'm feeling good, but this is optimistic me who's seen 6 games and you've won 5 of them, right? I haven't lived through 2023 Minnesota with how kind of anxiety inducing and just how much that makes your skin crawl when you think back to that game. But on paper, games aren't played on paper. I feel good. I think this is a big night for Emmett. I think it's a big night for Dylan. I think defensively you have the opportunity to get after the quarterback and shut down the run game. We said we'd shut down Maryland's run game last week. Didn't necessarily do that. So this is one of those games. Don't let Darius Taylor get going, man, because if he gets going and he can find some of the success he's had in the past, and that means a little bit of trouble. But I feel good.
If you waited, you get the best number. I think it's currently sitting at 7. I like Nebraska. I'll take them somewhere around 28-20.
Listen, I know I don't get to do a click to pick, but I'm going to give you mine anyway. Keona Davis going to tear up the interior of that offensive line.
If that D line is good, it will be a great night for Nebraska.
You talk to people around Minnesota, and their guard situation is not the best right now. That interior offensive line is not where they want it to be. So,
a lot of Nebraska fans up there.
Seems like it. It definitely seems like it. But they're supposed to get 50K tonight, so we'll see how many of them are. Are they wearing maroon or are they wearing red? I'm just glad we all know where we're going, and we're going together.
All righty, boys. Have a good call. Let's enjoy the game tonight, and we will talk to you later. Appreciate your time.
All right.
You got it.
All right. That's DB and KC, your commentating team for Nebraska tonight on Husker Radio Network. Appreciate them joining us and giving us some time there. Rico, did you come up with a number? Did you come up with a score?
34-10.
34-10. I've got it at 34-13. I think Nebraska will.
No, I'm kidding. Nebraska.
How dare you? I will fight you, and you can never come back. No. That's Rico. Appreciate you sitting in the last couple days.
It's been great. Let's do it again sometime.
DB and I will be back on Monday. And tonight, don't forget, Austin and I will be on Hale Varsity Postgame Show after, crossing our fingers, knocking on wood, a Nebraska W. Make sure you join us. Hale Varsity Postgame Show. That's Rico. I'm Ravi. Hurrdat Sports Live. We'll be back on Monday.
See you. Have a good day. Love you.